Pujols among the early extra base leaders in the National League, and that's a good sign. But he still is not locked in the way he did for all those years in St. Louis. The 0-1, though, ripped to left. That's a base hit. Backhanded by Young. Around third, Cowgill. He comes home to score standing. The throw comes into second. Albert Pujols holds it first with a single and a run batted in. And the Angels have a 1-0 lead. Pujols now has an 8-game hitting streak.
That's actually his first hit with a runner in scoring position all year. You talked about the 5 RBIs, but he had hit a couple of 2-run homers with a runner at first. A double for an RBI with a runner at first. He had been 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position, including 0 for 3 last night. Very un-Pujols-like, but off the bat, that sounded like the old Albert.
And so 1-0 Angels, and now Howie Kendrick, the right-hand hitting second baseman. Nice delivers a fastball, and that's on the outside corner. Strike one called. Kendrick swinging the bat well after going 0 for his first 10. He's had 11 for 31 since then. And he has eaten up National League pitching. The 0-1 to him, hit on the ground towards short, charged by Quintanilla. He's got it. Sidearm to flip to second for one. Murphy to first, double play. And that retires the side. Nicely done, initiated by Omar Quintanilla. And Nice is out of the first inning with no further damage, apart from the 1 run on 2 hits. No errors, nobody left. At the end of 1, it's the Angels 1, the Mets nothing on the WOR Mets Radio Network.
Use the rewards instantly for your hotel.
As we start the second inning, Curtis Granderson in a 1 for 18 drought will lead off for the Mets, and then Ike Davis and Lucas Duda, 3 left-handed batters against Jared Weaver, whose first pitch is a fastball that hits the outside edge at the knees for strike one. Granderson, great numbers against Weaver. 10 out of 27 with 5 home runs. And the 0-1 breaking ball pulled on the ground to first, fielded at the shoot tops by Pujols, runs to the bag in time, 1 man away. So Granderson grounds out. It'll bring up Ike Davis. Ike playing first base today, getting the start with a right-hander on the mound. Tomorrow, a pretty good left-hander, C.J. Wilson, will pitch for the Angels, and it's expected that Lucas Duda will get the start. Ike is 0 for his last 7. He is 4 out of 14 on the year, including that grand slam last week against J.J. Hoover of the Cincinnati Reds. Weaver into the windup, and the first pitch on the way. Fastball misses outside, ball 1. Mets are wearing the alternate blue road tops today with New York in block letters across the chest. The 1-0. Breaking ball hits the inside corner. That's a called strike, and it's 1-1 to Davis. Mike will be going home to Arizona with the Mets tomorrow. The 1-1 pitch, curveball way out in front. He swings and misses. It's 1-2. Pretty good looking curveball there by Jared Weaver, but that badly fooled Ike Davis. Mike lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, not too far from where the ballpark Chase Field is located. Mets will have 3 with the Diamondbacks beginning Monday night to conclude this road trip. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball high and tight, ball 2.
And it's 3 out there, not in July or August, so it won't be 108 to 112. It'll be a nice round and fine 90.
Nothing wrong with that. Here's the 2-2 to Davis. Fastball swung out and missed, strike 3. Well, it's only an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, but you throw that big hook, and you've seen Weaver throw a couple of changeups. All of a sudden, that 88 looks a lot quicker, and Davis down on strike. So 2 men away, and Lucas Duda coming up.
And it's a bit unusual because a guy who is 6'7", you'd think is a straight-on power pitcher, but he's more smoke and mirrors at this point in his career.
Now Duda, 0 for 2 last night, left-hand batter, swings and misses at a fastball out away from him, and the count 0-1. Weaver saw the Mets once before. That was back in Shea Stadium. The 0-1 on the way, a changeup, and that's a little bit high, 1-1. Carlos Beltran hit a couple of home runs in a game the Mets won against Weaver in June of 08. And the 1-1 on the way, fastball high, 2-1. My mistake, that was actually here in Anaheim. That was the series when Willie Randolph was fired as manager. Mets have been here twice in 08 and in 03, taking 2 out of 3 both times. 2-1 pitch. There's the curveball again. It's low inside, ball 3. And the Angels have taken 2 out of 3 both times that they've been at Citi Field. 1-0 Angels. 2 out, nobody on here in the top of the second. Infield overshifted against Duda. 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss at that changeup again. And the count 3-2. So Weaver throwing the soft stuff effectively, meaning the curveball and the changeup, making that fastball a little more problematic despite its decreased velocity. So here's the payoff pitch. Fastball hit high in the air to straightaway center. Back goes Trout at the track, at the wall. He jumps. Gone. Home run. Lucas Duda from nearby Riverside, California, ties the game. His 3rd home run of the year as he takes Weaver out to dead central. The game is tied 1-1.
All the Southern Californians on the Mets are producing. Josh Sadden had the big 2 RBI double last night. Travis d'Arnaud, his first home run of the year, in a ballpark in which he played once as a high schooler, and now Duda, who's also played here as a high schooler, just beyond the leaping Trout, and he's been known to leap and bring him back.
So here's Juan Lagares, right-hand batter. He takes a fastball at the knees for a called strike 1.
And by the way, that's 5 home runs in the last 6 innings now, allowed by Jared Weaver.
I mentioned he gave up 4 against the Astros his last time out. The 0-1 to Lagares, that's hit in the air to left field, just about directly to Cowgill, who makes the catch, side retired. Mets tie the game, a run on a hit, the homer by Duda, nobody left. Middle of the second inning, the Mets won, the Angels won on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Springs, May 31st, 2014.
Mets fans expect the best from their team, and for the very best in senior care. I've seen how the world took the loss. Tommy Conlon, the winner, to go 2-0 in relief. And the 1-2 pitch, swing and a foul ball coming back downstairs to the left of the screen. Miami and Philadelphia are tied 4-4, playing the bottom of the 7th in Philadelphia. Giancarlo Stanton has homered twice. He doesn't need that bandbox to help him out, but he's now got 4 on the year. 1-2 pitch, fastball fouled back to the screen. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee are tied 2-2. That's at the end of 7 in Milwaukee. Brewers are red hot. They have won 7 in a row. Carlos Gomez, the former Met, with his 4th home run of the year. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Curveball swung on and missed, strike 3. Actually foul tipped it into the mid of Wrecker. Ibanez down on strike, side retired. Nice, with a little help from his defense, gets the side in order. And at the end of 2, it's the Mets won, the Angels won on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Travel rewards usually take forever to earn and even longer to redeem. In
WOR.
1-1 game here as we go to the 3rd. Yankees beat the Red Sox 7-4 in the Bronx earlier today. Yankees hitting 5 home runs in that game, 2 of them by Brian McCann. Cleveland beat the White Sox 12-6. The Twins beat the Royals 7-1. This game is 1-1. What you're hearing in the background, just a little
And he takes some soft stuff outside, 1-0.
Of course, the Mets were down to just John Lannon and Jose Valverde in the bullpen, and Terry was trying to save Valverde for a safe situation.
1-0 pitch to Quintanilla. Swing, bouncing ball, slowly hit near 3rd. Gobbled up, Freeze on the run, throws him out. 2 down.
Although if Familia had been able to get through that last inning and the game went to a 12th and beyond, he would have given Valverde a shot to keep him down in the 12th, hope the Mets could take the lead and squeeze another inning out of Valverde. But if he did that, then you would not have Valverde eligible or available tonight. As it is, the Mets don't have Jeurys Familia tonight. They may not have Kyle Farnsworth tonight. So you might see, for example, Gonzalez or Men throw more than 1 inning in relief if needed.
Top of the order, Eric Young Jr. will bat as a lefty. Of course, the Mets bullpen have been doing great work for about a week. Pitcher swatted foul out of play third base side, about halfway up in this ballpark. Nice catch made in that second level. Fan in the first row in an Angels cap. Yeah, it had been 20 1/3 scoreless innings in a row before the walk-off HBP, the limp-off. Conger was funny, actually, the way he tried to avoid his teammates out to mob him. There's a swing by Young, another foul towards that same fan, just a little bit beneath him this time. Bouncing to the first row. Conger got nailed in the ribs, 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and then he had all these Angels teammates who were going to try to hit him around some more, and he ran around like it was like the end of the Benny Hill show, trying to get away from all of them.
Half expected him to come out of the Mets dugout.
The 0-2 is outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I mean, that's how they would have done it on Benny Hill, right? He'd have gone into the Angels dugout with all his teammates. Next thing you know, he'd come out of the Mets dugout, and the Angels would be chasing him.
1-2 delivery on the way. Check swing by Young on appeal. Did he check his swing? Yes, he did. It's 2-2. As bullpen catcher Dave Raccanello has the baldest head and the most cleanly shaven head, so we got to tap, 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 tap on somebody. Probably be Rack. If you never watched Benny Hill, sorry, but we'll get back to baseball now. 2-2 pitch from Weaver. He is down and outside, 3-2. Young with that walk and stolen base in the first inning, and was thrown out by his former teammate Colin Cowgill. Young essentially taking over for Cowgill, if you think about it, midway point of last season. Here's a kick from Weaver, the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He dialed it down and struck him out. And Eric Young Jr. has struck out in every game this year but one. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Jared Weaver, and the Angels will play the bottom of the third here in Anaheim tonight. We're tied at 1 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
At the Home Depot to pick up Pennington Smart Seed, the seed chosen by the Yankees grounds crew.
Mets fans, if you're suffering from joint pain and you want an alternative.
Mike Butcher, the pitching coach, is on his way to the mound. When he's on his way to the kitchen, it's apparently big news around here because the Angels pregame show did what seemed like about an hour feature on Mike Butcher in his kitchen.
It's a mini-series. Part 2 next week, seriously.
Next week, Mike makes toast.
I'd watch that. We'll go get that on Netflix, actually. We're going to Phoenix next, and you know, Mike Butcher, we talked about this yesterday, actually owns and operates a couple of restaurants in Phoenix. But now he's back.
Well, I guess after that crack, we're not getting any freebies, are we?
Yeah, that's okay. We're eating just fine, as it is. Butcher back in the dugout, and Weaver left to his own devices. Ike Davis ready. The pitch to him. Runners are going. A throw to third base is in time to get David Rice. The Mets try to double steal right after the visit from Mike Butcher. Maybe thinking that Weaver would be preoccupied with whatever was just put in his mind by the pitching coach. And Iannetta, who doesn't have a history of a really high ratio of throwing runners out, whipped it down to third, and Wright just went right into the foot of David Freese with a head-first slide.
No, he doesn't have a great ratio, but this year he's 4 for 6.
Granderson now at second, and the pitch to Davis is low.
In Iannetta's career, he only throws out about 24% of attempted base stealers, but this year it's 2/3 in a very small sample, admittedly, but 4 out of 6 is impressive.
Granderson at second with 2 out now in a 1-1 game. And the pitch to the lefty Davis, a big sweeping curve, catching the outside corner for a strike. So it's 2-1. David, kind of a Superman dive. David Wright left his feet and went in head first, but Freese left his left leg blocking that entry point. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Davis out in front of a curve. So now 2-2. No, very aggressive. The Mets trying their first double steal of the year. They got Duda on deck. He's already homered tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Davis. Deep in the box and ready. Weaver kicks and brings it. It's high with a fastball 3-2. And again, that Weaver fastball these days tops out at 87. Averages just a tick below 86. He was never a 97-mile-an-hour guy, but you could always trust him to get it up there 92, 93 just a few years ago. On 3-2, Granderson extends the lead. The pitch walloped in the air to right field, going back to the warning track. Cole Calhoun makes the catch, and that retires the side. Well, Davis didn't miss by much, but miss he did, leaving Duda on deck. 2 walks in the inning, 1 man left. Bottom of the 4th coming up. We're tied at 1 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
45, Pennington has been a part of American tradition, from hot dogs to cannonballs.
See details.
Tied at 1, Mets baseball brought to you by RE/MAX. Is your real estate agent only showing you the listings they want you to see? Visit RE/MAX. They're the bottom-ranked farm system in all of baseball right now. 1 strike to count. And Kendrick ready, wraps it on the ground, a couple of hops. Murphy slides, and he's got it, and from one knee throws to first. In time to get Kendrick. Down to third is Trout. It's not like Murphy had to range and dive. It's just that ball was hit really hard, and it kind of fell over. Like Artie Johnson on the tricycle, just kind of tilted over, made that play, and got it onto Ike for out number 2. Let's pause for station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
This is Krista Marks, WOR New York.
Freese, the batter, with a runner at third, 2 out. He is hitless for the series. Took an 0 for 6 last night. Trout down the line at third. Big curveball strike on the inner half, 0-1. Every Mets starter had a hit last night. First time that's happened for the Mets in a game since early June of last year. Did that in Washington. Wind in the pitch. Fouled straight back, 0-2. Freese, the former Cardinal, and he's at a bit of a crossroads himself. Getting traded over from St. Louis seemed a bit counterintuitive because everyone said the Angels needed to get younger for this year. They received a 30-year-old Freese and 29-year-old Fernando Salas for 2 young outfielders, a 26-year-old and a 22-year-old going the other way. Time called. Freese backs out. Freese definitely showing some signs of slippage the last couple of years in St. Louis. Some whispers of lost bat speed. 0-2, and there it is. Strike 3, swinging. Neese blowing it by him. And as if on cue, we talk about lost bat speed and a late swing right there at an 88-mile-an-hour fastball. Leadoff hit does not bloom for the Angels. 1 man left. And at the end of 4, we're still tied at 1 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer.
Marvin is an industry only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Your new home for Mets baseball. 710 WOR.
A 1-1 game as we hit the 5th. Lucas Duda has hit a home run, and he'll lead things off now. Here's Howie.
All right, Josh, thanks. First pitch on the way to Duda. A curveball that's high, 1-0 from Jared Weaver. And then Duda home run, which was hit to dead center. With 2 out in the 2nd inning is the only hit the Mets have off of Weaver, who's walked 3 and struck out 2. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball, that's a little bit high, ball 2. Angels overshift the infield with 3 of them on the right side, but Duda's last time up, the infielders were completely irrelevant. 400-foot home run. 2-0 pitch, changeup, and that's outside, ball 3. So Weaver behind 3-0. Lagares and Recker to follow. Due to the left-handed bat among those first 3, and the 3-0 pitch on the way. A fastball hits the outside corner, strike 1.
Speaking of lefties, Howie, Jonathan Neese through 4 innings now, only 50 pitches. That bodes really well. That projects to him being around for the 8th inning.
And they really need that after taxing the bullpen last night. Here's the 3-1 to Duda. Swing and a miss at the changeup, full count. So Weaver continues to mix and match between his fastball and the off-speed stuff, either the changeup or the curveball. Remember, this is a guy who won 20 games 2 years ago. Here's the payoff pitch on the way. Breaking ball in there. Strike 3 called. So Duda, who had been ahead of the count 3-0, winds up looking at a 3rd strike as Jared Weaver gets the breaking ball over. Borderline strike. But again, a very pitcher-friendly strike zone exhibited for the most part by Sean Barber tonight behind home plate. So 3 strikeouts now for Weaver. 1 away, and Juan Lagares coming up. He flied to left his first time. Right-hand batter. Weaver's first pitch. Bunted up the third base line, but it kicks foul. 0-1. Our trivia question is presented by New York State Smokers Quit Line. Talk to your doctor or call 866-NY-QUITS for help quitting smoking today. In the first ever series between these teams back in 2003 in this ballpark, Steve Trachsel of the Mets pitched a one-hitter. The 0-1 on the way. Curveball swung on and missed. 0-2. He was flirting with an no-hitter as deep as 2 out in the 6th inning. And then came the only hit. Which Angel had that hit? We'll let you know in just a little bit. Now the 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball in there. Strike 3 called. So the last 2 Mets now have been caught looking. Duda and Lagares. And quickly 2 up, 2 down, and Anthony Recker coming up. On Monday, April 21st, when the Mets host the Cardinals, the Mets will provide military members and their families with complimentary tickets while wearing camouflage jerseys to recognize the bravery of these important members of our community. It's all part of Mets Military Mondays, presented by GovX. To purchase tickets for Military Monday, visit Mets.com/tickets. Here's Recker. First pitch, fastball, just missed inside, ball 1.
For Weaver now, Howie, going back to his other start against the Astros, of his last 6 hits he's allowed, 5 of them have been home runs.
But only 1 hit allowed so far tonight. The 1-0 fastball pulled on the ground towards third, foul ball beyond the reach of the diving third baseman David Freese. And the count of ball and a strike now on Recker, making his 2nd start. Started last Saturday's game against the Reds. And he'll probably get 1 more on this road trip. Of course, Travis d'Arnaud, the local kid from about a 20-minute ride from here, hit the home run last night. Or a home run last night, but his first of the year. 1-1 on the way, a fastball, and that's low, 2-1.
He was telling us before the game he actually had something in common with last night's hero for the Angels, Hank Conger, catcher, winning the game with a walk-off of sorts.
Now the 2-1 pitch to Recker. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, 2-2.
Most unconventional way you could be a hero last night. Conger getting hit by a pitch. Didn't really do much. He just stood there and took it. The one high school game, d'Arnaud was telling us that he played on this field. He had the walk-off hit. It was an opposite field double.
So 2-2 here to Recker. Weaver deals. Curveball swung on and missed, strike 3, and Jared Weaver has struck out the side. He's got 5 strikeouts overall. Middle of the 5th inning. Mets 1, Angels 1 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
The New York State Smokers Quit Line. Talk to your doctor or call 866-NY-QUITS for help quitting smoking today.
Since 1945, Pennington has been a part of American tradition.
1988 through 2012 for Honda and competing brands.
Hey, if you've tuned in to hear Sick and Tired of Being Sick and Tired with Dr. Richard Ash, he'll be on next Sunday at 5 p.m. here on WOR, so go to ashcenter.com for more info. That's ashcenter.com. We head to the last of the 5th inning in a 1-1 game. Eric Ibar will lead off for the Angels, switch hitting shortstop. Bats right-handed against John Neese, who's allowed 3 hits. The Mets have only 1 off of Jared Weaver. First pitch to Ibar. Swing and a high pop foul outside first near the dugout. That's going to be on top of the dugout and bounces into the seats for strike 1. Ibar hit a sinking fly ball to left field his first time up, and Eric Young, lunging forward, made a nice catch. Raul Ibanez and Chris Iannetta will follow here in the last of the 5th. We are at dusk now here in Southern California. The lights taking strong hold, but you can still see a bit of daylight. And Neese into the windup. The 0-1 pitch, a fastball driven in the air to straightaway center. Lagares drifting back. He's there, and he makes the catch for the first out. So that'll bring up Ibanez. Get to Citi Field Saturday, April 19th. Mets will take on the Braves at 7:10. First 20,000 fans will receive a Shea Stadium 50th anniversary canvas print, courtesy of New Era. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. So now Ibanez, the number 7 hitter who struck out his first time. And with a left-hand batter up, the Mets will overshift the infield as Daniel Murphy moves into short right field. Quintanilla to the right of second base. First pitch, fastball low, 1-0. Terry Collins is one of 30 managers now who have so much information at their disposal when it comes to defending and shifting, which is so much more prevalent. The 1-0 fastball in for a called strike, 1-1. In fact, I was talking to Mike Scioscia before the game about Terry Collins because they were actually teammates while Terry was still an active player in the Dodgers system. They were playing together in Albuquerque about 1980. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Fastball hit high in the air to shallow center. Lagares moving in. It's his ball. He's under it, and he makes the catch 2 men away. But when Scioscia and Terry Collins were teammates at Albuquerque, Terry was actually asked by the manager, Del Crandall, to become a coach, a player coach. And in so doing, Crandall made sure to tell certain of his players who he felt were the especially cerebral types, and Scioscia fit into that category. He said, I want you to pick this guy's brain because he's going to be a manager someday. Here's Iannetta, right-hand batter, and he takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. So even though they were technically teammates, Scioscia was saying there was kind of a teacher-pupil relationship that he had with Terry. 1-0 on the way. Fastball hit in the air. Pretty deep to left. Young going back. Near the track. Near the wall. It is gone. Chris Iannetta, with his first home run of the year, just snakes it over that 8-foot-high wall in left center. And the Angels have taken a 2-1 lead.
Well, Iannetta was a guy who could not get on base this year until this series. But angled his way on 3 times yesterday with his first 2 walks all year and a hit that broke an 0 for 15. And after striking out in the 3rd tonight, he's able to go get a 2-seam fastball and rip it out to left for, as you say, his first home run of the season.
And the first allowed by Jonathan Nice. So now the number 9 batter, left-hand hitting Cole Calhoun, the right fielder, takes a fastball down the middle for a called strike 1. So Iannetta's alarm clock went off just a little later than the Mets would have preferred. The 0-1 curveball, though, outside, 1-1. And now you look at what Jared Weaver's done, and that 1 run looks pretty fat. Even though the Mets have gone deep themselves for their only run. That was a Lucas Duda home run in the 2nd inning. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt, ball 2. The answer to the trivia question, David Eckstein, a little shortstop, who somehow was able to get throws from shortstop to first base with anything but a cannon for an arm. Well, it was Eckstein who had the only hit when Steve Trexel pitched his 1-hitter here back in 2003. 2-1 pitch, fastball with the knees, a called strike. It's 2-2.
Used to call Eckstein Mr. Just Enough. We do just enough and everything to beat you.
And we used to call him Mr. Trexel, all night Trexel, because that's how long it would take him occasionally. Now the 2-2 on the way, swinging a high pop foul coming straight back. The thing about Trexel is he was so focused on game day to the point where the slightest little change in the routine would, really set them all asunder. And yet, away from that one day out of every 5, he was as nice a guy as you'd ever meet. Ran into him at Wrigley Field a couple of years ago when he was taking a game in as a fan. 2-2 pitch in there, strike 3 called. Nice slips a fastball that I think Calhoun might have thought was low, but is called strike 3 by Sean Barber. And the side is retired, but not before the Angels take the lead. A run on a hit, the homer by Iannetta. 4 strikeouts now for Nice. And at the end of 5, it's the Angels 2 and the Mets 1 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by
Morris County, or at Lexus of Route10.com, a celebrity motor car company.
Your new home for Mets baseball, 710 WOR.
We head to the 6th inning in Anaheim. It is 2-1 Angels. Omar Quintanilla leads off for New York. Left-hand batter Jared Weaver deals a curveball that's high for ball 1. Quintanilla, Eric Young Jr., and Daniel Murphy will hit for New York. The only Mets hit, a 2nd inning homer by Lucas Duda. And the 1-0 to Quintanilla. Changeup, and that's in for a called strike. It's 1-1. Quintanilla is making his first start of the year as Ruben Tejada has the night off. Quintanilla only had 1 at-bat coming into this game. The 1-1 fastball fouled straight back over the screen, 1-2. That was on opening day when he struck out against Aaron Barrett of the Washington Nationals, who looked pretty impressive coming out of their bullpen.
Quintanilla wears 0. I've got on my scorecard, I've never had this, 0 for his number, then 0-0-0 for the batting average.
1-2 pitch. Swinging a high pop-up, shallow left, charging back Ibar, moving in Calgill. Calgill, the left fielder, makes the catch. One man out.
I don't know how you keep it, Howie, but I do home runs / runs batted in / stolen bases. Obviously, those are all zeros, too. It's the first time I've ever had 7 zeros all in a row. Looks like I spilled Cheerios on my scorebook here.
I do it a little differently. Everybody keeps score in their own manner, which is all that matters, because you're not publishing the thing. You want to make it readable to yourself when you look back. So I'll do the average and the homers, RBIs, doubles, and triples. And if the stolen bases are relevant, I'll put them down there. Many of us just hang up stat sheets on the walls right next to our broadcast location. Eric Young takes a fastball high, 1-0.
You got walls?
Well, on this side I do. You might have to walk to the wall on your right, but it's exercise.
Got to go next door and say hello to Mark Langston and say, excuse me, can I tape this right here?
Here's the 1-0 to Young, swinging a high, pop up to center field. A little deeper than it looked off the bat, but playable for Trout, who makes the catch. 2 men away.
No complaints about the accommodations here. We're in the second level, a little bit up the third base line, and everything here is open air. You might look up at Citi Field occasionally, see the broadcasters, brave broadcasters, have the windows shut when it's, for example, 36 degrees or something like that.
You're darn tootin' they're shut.
Well, we have no windows to shut here. Everything's just open air.
Now, who would shut a window in Anaheim?
That's my point. Haven't had a rain out here in close to 20 years. And we might catch a beach ball. A wayward beach ball might come right in the booth.
Well, here's Daniel Murphy, takes a fastball high, 1-0.
Would you puncture a beach ball if it came in here? Would you take your pen and just go?
I wouldn't do that. What would that beach ball have done to me that I would need to put it to rest? The 1-0, and Murphy pops it up. Left side of the infield, Ibar the shortstop, back onto the outfield ground. In terms of depth perception, you would try to imagine. So he actually was scampering back somewhat diagonally along. Angels 2, Mets 1 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Why give your
Polk U.S. vehicles and operation registration statistics 1988 through 2012 for Civic and competing models. See dealer for financing details.
Last of the 6th, 2-1 Angels. Top of the order for Colin Calgill. Singled and scored, grounded the first, fouls the first pitch back to the screen, 0-1. And Calgill also made the defensive play of the game when he threw out Eric Young trying to score on a shallow fly ball in the first inning. Defensive play of the game brought to you by Barracuda Networks, the leader in content security and protection solutions. Reclaim your network with Barracuda. Good strong one-hop throw by Calgill. And the 0-1 curveball high and away, ball 1. When Calgill came to the Mets prior to last season, he was advertised as being something of a latter-day Lenny Dykstra. That type of player. The 1-1 fouled back over the screen. Changeup, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. I'm not sure that Calgill did anything which recalled Mr. Dykstra at his finest or most reckless, at least on the field. Know how much more reckless he was off of it, sadly, and hopefully Lenny's coming around now. He's involved in some signings, so he's getting kind of back into the flow. A 1-2 on the way, fastball outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes, but I don't think there are many people who saw Colin Calgill in the short time that he was with the Mets last year before they DFA'd him and eventually traded him to the Angels, who would have said, yeah, that guy reminds me of Lenny Dykstra. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball a little bit low. Full count. I think Nice wanted that one. If only because Sean Barber has been pretty charitable towards the pitchers, especially with those low strikes so far, but he didn't get that call. And now it'll be a payoff pitch to Calgill. It's on the way, and it's fouled back to the screen.
Well, the one comparison with Dykstra that worked was the uniform number last year. He wore number 4, just like Lenny. You know, those comparisons first started flowing from, of all people, Rico Brogna, who was Calgill's Double-A manager in 2010. And Brogna now a special assistant here to the Angels front office.
Payoff pitch fouled straight back, and that owes to his long-time relationship with Jerry Dipoto, going back to when Dipoto, the Angels general manager, and Rico Brogna were teammates with the Mets in the mid-1990s. Rico Brogna is a great guy and a brilliant defensive first baseman, too. Payoff pitch to Cowgill, drilled deep to left. Young going back onto the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Into the Angels bullpen in left field, Colin Cowgill with his first home run of the year. The second home run given up by John Neese in this game, and the Angels now take a 3-1 lead.
Home runs allowed to guys who hadn't hit him yet this year. And isn't it something, Howie? Josh Hamilton unable to play. They're going with a platoon of Shuck and Cowgill, who are not known. I mean, you could add them up, and you maybe get Josh Hamilton's slugging percentage. But Shuck, with a surprise home run last night in place of Hamilton, and the other half of that platoon, Cowgill, with the same thing tonight.
Those are the first 2 home runs that Neese has allowed so far this season. Of course, it's only his second start. There is an instructive element to it. First pitch to Mike Trout, a curveball in the dirt, ball 1. Early in Neese's career, he was decidedly, I would say, a fly ball pitcher. And occasionally would go through stretches where he'd have trouble keeping the ball in the yard. As he's refined his cutter in particular, he's gotten a lot of ground balls. The 1-0 ripped hard through the middle, a base hit. Left center for Trout. Over to the gap is Lagares. He cuts it off. Trout digging for second. He'll slide in well ahead of the throw. A head first slide. Trout is safe at second with a double.
And that's why they're selling all those foam fish here at the concession stands. They love their Mike Trout here. He went down and got a fastball, essentially a ground ball, heading into left center field. The problem was Lagares was playing in right center. And by the time he galloped over, Trout had decided to turn on that great speed that he's got. And even a perfect throw from Lagares would have been late.
And this was nothing close to a perfect throw. It was well offline to the right of second base, as Lagares really didn't have much of an opportunity to set himself. So, with the Angels leading 3-1 now and nobody out, the Angels see John Neese for the 3rd time through the order. Now it's Albert Pujols who singled in a run in the first inning. First pitch to the right-hand hitter. Cutter missed inside. Ball 1.
First 16 batters for the Angels tonight. None of them had an extra base hit. But now 3 of the last 4 do.
And again, now they're seeing him, starting with Cowgill for the 3rd time around. Mets bullpen is quiet for now. Neese only 74 pitches so far. And the 1-0 on the way. Now the cutter that hits the inside edge at the knees, and Pujols is shaking his head. He doesn't like that. Now he is mildly showing up Sean Barber, the home plate ump, by shaking his head. You're allowed to do that. You don't want to get too much more demonstrative. I think Pujols thought more than anything that pitch was inside. But it's 1-1, and now Neese deals. Fastball high and away, ball 2.
Ted Barrett tells a story when he was a young umpire. Called a strike on Cal Ripken Jr. when Cal was about Albert Pujols' age. And Cal didn't even look back. He said, I highly doubt that.
Here's the 2-1. Curveball popped up behind home plate. Wrecker over near the screen, makes the catch. And that will keep Trout at second base. One big out for Jonathan Neese there, and Albert Pujols really angry.
Yeah.
Just smashed and he's doing it for a second time now, the knob of his bat once at a time against each of his shoes. And he did not like the call on the second preceding pitch before he fouled out.
Yeah, and he shot a couple of looks back over his right shoulder at young Sean Barber, I'm sure for exactly that reason.
So Howie Kendrick, a right-hand batter, 0 for 2, grounded into a double play and then grounded to second. And now Neese steps off. Trout leading from second with 1 out here in the last of the 6th inning. 3-1 Anaheim. Or we're in Anaheim. Pitch on the way to Kendrick, fouled back to the screen, 0-1. It's easy to still consider them the Anaheim Angels, but as far as people are concerned out here, they're really just the Angels. Technically, they were able to drop the Anaheim from the long, awkward Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim name, but nothing in their media guide suggests that they are anything but the Angels. Nowhere does it say Los Angeles Angels. The 0-1 swung on and fouled straight down at home plate, 0-2.
Well, you know, if I remember my high school Spanish correctly, Howie, Los Angeles actually means the Angels. There's their closing argument right there, counselor. Los Angeles of Los Angeles.
Well, we'll pause right here in Anaheim of Anaheim for station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Drive Home with Sean Hannity. Weekdays from 3 till 6 on the new radio home of the Mets, 710 WOR New York.
0-2, the count to Kendrick. Nice delivers, swinging a chopper foul over by the third base dugout. Howie Rose, Josh Lewin, with you from Orange County, which is where Anaheim, California is situated.
They had basically the trial of the century here overall, Dad. Expert witnesses testifying that the city of Anaheim was going to lose $1 billion kajillion worth of exposure because of ballpark signage saying Angel Stadium and not Angel Stadium of Anaheim.
The 0-2 fastball high, 1-2. I can understand if it was a sponsor that supposedly, you know, had its name attached to a team. That's never happened, of course, but that's one thing. Well, we kind of all know where we are, and I don't think it damages the brand.
I don't think it does.
You know, they're not the New York Mets of Flushing or the New York Yankees of the Bronx or whatever. We kind of know where we are. Nice wheels back towards second base. I just thought this whole thing was so blown out of proportion while you've got the Jets and Giants playing in New Jersey.
Right.
And, you know, however much fuss you want to make about technicalities, well, it's still the Los Angeles television market. And that's kind of what sports is about these days. They're a conglomeration of markets as opposed to cities. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball swung on and missed, strike three. Ball boxed around by Recker, who picks it up, fires to first to complete the strikeout. Trout holds on at second. 2 men away. That's 5 strikeouts now for Nice.
When they had that trial, the city of Anaheim hired a prosecutor that was pretty glib. And he testified, and here's the quote, "There is an emotional curtain dividing L.A. and Orange County. And Angels owner Artie Moreno has willfully shredded that curtain." See? I mean, the uncle, you know?
Well, look, I mean, you know, I've done the New York Islanders hockey games for almost 20 years. Yeah, they play in Nassau County. They've had that New York name for the entirety of their existence. First pitch on the way to Freeze is hit in the air to straightaway center. Playable for Lagares. He makes the catch. That retires the side. Nobody's bent out of shape about the New York Islanders playing on Long Island, for example. Maybe Madge. Anyway, in the 6th inning, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 6, it's the Angels 3 and the Mets 1 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven.
Or call 866-NY-QUITS for help quitting smoking today.
Your new home for Mets baseball, 710 WOR.
7th inning here in Anaheim. The Mets have 1 hit, a Lucas Duda solo homer in the 2nd, so they need those bats to start heating up, Josh, as it's 3-1 Angels.
Yeah, the Mets are 0 for their last 12. Here is David Wright hitting .225, and he looped one in the air down the right field line. Long run for Cole Calhoun towards foul ground. He runs out of gas, and it's foul. That was up there for a long time, but Calhoun swung around into right center, never could get there. And we should mention nobody touched Cole Calhoun as he rolled over and headed towards that right field corner. Curtis Granderson last night didn't quite get away the way Cole Calhoun got away, and they escorted a fan right on out of here because of that.
I was talking to Mike Scioscia about that before the game, and he was saying that back in that 2002 World Series, Reggie Sanders was claw sticks.
Yes. If you watch Game 7, I don't know how you'd go and find it, of that 2002 World Series. That series turned on one play. Garrett Anderson's bases loaded double. Pitches low to right in the count 1-1. As that ball went into the left field corner, everybody seemed like they were reaching out with those blasted thunder sticks trying to just hammer away on the outfielder. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. There's that kind of slurve pitch that Weaver throws. Dives right out of the zone. It's 1-2. Mets behind 3-1. And here it comes from Weaver. Bouncing ball near third, right to the other David. David Freeze cocks the arm and fires across, 1 down. New York Mets baseball brought to you by your local Tri-Honda dealers, a network of 61 dedicated dealers serving the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Check out their best deals at TriHondaDealers.com. And here is the man who was touched by an Angel fan last night, Curtis Granderson. And Curtis said he was just stunned. I mean, he didn't know what exactly was going on when he whipped around. Pitched to Curtis's low 1-0. And as it turned out, that fan didn't make any kind of menacing gesture or anything like that. The 1-0. Lobbed outside, 2 balls and no strikes. The fan kept insisting to Curtis in their brief conversation that they had, I didn't mean to is what he said. Meaning I didn't mean to touch you. Pitch is outside 2-1. On the outside corner 2-1.
What exactly else could he have meant to do when he reached as far over the barrier as he did?
Yeah, when you break down the tape, here's a 2-1 pitch off speed outside 3-1. There's no question that's exactly and only what that fan was trying to do, because he had to reach way out and basically where it says S-O-N in Granderson across his back, he just reached out. Oh, look, here's a ball player. It's like a manatee. I'll just reach out and touch him in the touch tank. 3-1. Dropping outside, ball 4, and Weaver kind of slaps at that baseball as he gets it back. He thought he had a strike. It's called a ball. And that's 4 walks he's allowed now, bringing up Ike Davis as the tying man.
One thing to keep in mind about the Angels bullpen, should they have to dip in there before too long, the Mets have Ike Davis and Lucas Duda, left-handed power hitters in the lineup tonight. There is no left-hander in the Angels bullpen right now. They're going with an exclusively right-handed pen.
They sent Nick Mirande down to get Dane De La Rosa active, the guy that got in 75 games for them a year ago. Davis hitting .250, looks at a curve that barely misses outside 1-0. And again, Weaver slaps at that ball on its return to Mayanetta. And now will kick and kick and kick with his back foot, trying to get a toe hold to pitch from on that mound. 1-0 delivery, fastball, missing outside 2-0. The seemingly random yelling that you're hearing, there's a wave that's cresting around at the ballpark now. As action does begin in that Angel bullpen.
I believe it's Salas.
2-0 pitch hit high in the air, left center field, pretty well struck. Trout is back, calling for it. Near the track, he's got it. And beating a hasty retreat back to first is Granderson to bring up Lucas Duda. And I think you're right about the ID on that pitcher out there in left field. It's a 2-tiered bullpen setup. The Angels have the ground floor, and the Mets are in the mezzanine.
Which is the way you want to do it if you're the home team, because that mezzanine is directly below where there are a lot of fans seated in the bleachers out in left center field, so they always let the visitors take whatever brunt of emotion might be oozing from those people.
Brunt of Emotion is a good band name, by the way.
No charge. Feel free.
Hey, this copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Sterling Mets, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mets. Duda with a home run tonight. The only Mets hit. He takes outside 1-0. The Mets have had walks from Young, Wright, 2 from Granderson. But other than that, the solo home run from Duda, that's it. Weaver's at 93 pitches right now. Big shift on for Duda. And the pitch. Loop to left field to beat the shift. It's going to feather down a base hit. Racing towards third is Granderson, and he'll make it there on an opposite field bloop single from Lucas Duda with 2 out in the inning.
Yeah, the only agenda Cal Gill had in terms of where he was going to throw that ball was second base, because even as slow a runner as Lucas Duda is, that's got to be the primary focus of Cal Gill there, to keep that tying run at a scoring position. So as hard as Eric Young was going between second and third, Cal Gill's only realistic play was to second base.
So the only
Granderson,
the only Met hits are from Duda. Astros had something like that yesterday. Matt Dominguez had the Astros' only 2 hits in a game that went 12 innings. This one's just in the top of the 7th. It is 3-1 Angels. And now Juan Lagares, who has flied to left and taken the called third strike. The pitch from Weaver, fastball, and it's outside 1-0. Plenty of room for Lagares in right center. Trout is way over in the left center. And Cal Gill towards the line in left. 1-0 delivery on its way, dropping low. 2 balls and no strikes. Now for the Mets, it's been John Neese all the way. On a night when the Mets really needed length out of him. Mike Butcher quickly to the mound, the pitching coach. The Met fans, you can make the call to the bullpen, replace that inefficient beast in your basement with an American-made Peerless Boiler. Go to peerlessboilers.com for more info and to find a dealer near you. Remember, Peerless builds America's best boilers. Quick conversation between Butcher and Weaver. 2 occupations from 150 years ago right there. 2-0 the count. Runners at the corners. And the pitch from the right-hander will scrape the inside corner. 2-1 on Lagares. Juan has hit safely in 9 of the 10 games in which he's played. This is game number 11 for the season for the Mets. They're 4-6 right now. Here's a 2-1. Curve, taken, strike, hugs the inside corner, 2-2. So it's 2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count on Juan Lagares, hitting .282 and leading the team in runs batted in with a half a dozen. That's the total he reached in his 34th game last year. Weaver holds the ball behind his back, rolls it around in those long fingers. Keeps on spinning it, and now finally he's setting at the chest and ready. 2-2 out pitch, swing, it's tagged on the ground, into left, a base hit for Juan Lagares. Granderson scores, going down to second base and stopping his Duda. It is now 3-2. Well, he found that hole between third and short, and now it's 7 runs batted in this year for Juan Lagares.
And a 7-game hitting streak for Juan. He's hit in every game but one.
Mike Scioscia's on his way. He will get that ball from Weaver, who's barking on his way off the mound. Maybe at himself, maybe at the home plate umpire a little bit too, but he's yelping. And he's gone. 3-2 game now. And we'll take this break for the pitching change, sponsored by Hyundai. Hyundai's lineup is all hits, no misses. Weaver, who threw 99 pitches. The Halos by a run. The pitch to Record will slam outside 1-0. Weaver ends up walking 4 and striking out 5. The Jeff Spicoli lookalike riding a tasty wave back to the dugout right now to watch and see if the bullpen can bail him out. You've got Duda and Lagares aboard here, and Granderson's already scored in the inning. The line in the 1-0. Taken just off the plate. 2 balls, no strikes.
Looking at the Mets bench, there are no left-hand hitters available for Terry Collins. Remember, with the designated hitter, you have one less player on the bench. Of course, Quintanilla, the on-deck batter, is right-handed. But in case you were thinking about a pinch hitter anywhere along the line, no lefty bats on that Mets bench.
Here's the rock on the rubber, the 2-0 off-speed strike on the outside edge, 2-1. Recker has flied to left and struck out. Weaver struck out the side in the 5th inning. 3 of his 5 strikeouts just in that 1 inning. Salas, a former Cardinals closer. Former Mexican League pitcher, too. Outfield deep. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball to the inside. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 on, 2 out. Salas had a 24-save season in 2011 before yielding that job to Jason Mott. And he was a guy that took the Cardinals all the way through to a World Series title. Recker waves the bat in a 3-2 game here in the top of the 7th. The wind in the 2-2 pitch is low. Iannetta stops it. It rolled out in front of him. Now he goes and gets it again. So the runners will get going. Omar Quintanilla is on deck. The Mets have already scored once in the inning. Curtis Granderson walked and scored. The Mets had walked 4 times before that, and none of those walks had been cashed in. The Mets ruling a double steal that went awry back in the 4th inning. Salas setting at the letters. There they go. Here it comes. Swing and a hard foul back by Recker. Straight on 92-mile-an-hour heat from Fernando Salas. Duda is the one guy in the game that's got 2 hits tonight for the Mets. Mets had a season-high 10 hits yesterday, but again lost in extra innings 5-4. The Angels stranded 17 in that game. On 3-2. Again, the runner's on the move. Here's the pitch. Swinging a shot into center field. On comes Trout. Diving. He can't get it. 1 run is in. Looking for 2. Yes, sir. 2-run score. And trapped his record. No, he's going to get on back to first base. Nobody's covering there. The Mets shoot on top. It is 4-3 in the top of the 7th. Mike Trout left his feet and tried to make that spectacular diving face-first catch. But all he did was trap the ball, and then the ball rolled away.
And, of course, on 3-2, the runners were going, so there was no hesitation on the trail runner, Lagares' part at all. And once that ball rolled away from Trout, that gave Lagares plenty of time to come around with a go-ahead run.
And, boy, if Jared Weaver was yelping before when he left the mound ahead 3-2, one can only imagine that the expletives might be flying right now. Quintanilla will take a bender on the inside corner, strike 1.
Now, we were talking about Anthony Recker in spring training, and now he was challenged. The Mets had Juan Centeno. They had Taylor T. Gordon there. And Recker seemingly shrugged off those challengers and really had a solid spring. And he's becoming a very capable backup.
Runner goes. 0-1, wave and a miss. Anthony Recker, speed demon. Did he get there? They're looking. Make a call. No call yet. Safe. Ibar was basically lying on that ball, and I think that's what Fielding Culbreth was waiting to see, whether or not the ball was actually in the glove of Ibar, and Ibar wasn't going to let him look. So it is a stolen base for Recker, and not a guy that's known for running. He went in head first. I think the ball actually hit Recker and ended up back in the glove of Ibar. So it is a stolen base and an 0-2 count on Quintanilla now. He'll swing and miss at a splitter. It's dropped. Iannetta picks it up and fires on down to first. That retires the side. Well, that was interesting. Recker gets a stolen base. Recker also has the big hit in the inning, a 2 RBI single in front of a diving Mike Trout. The Mets score 3 times in the inning on 3 base hits, and they leave a man. 7th inning stretch. It's the Mets on top 4-3 on the WOR Mets Radio Network. Driven by...
Hold on. That's going to get annoying. Let's just turn that off.
4-3 New York in the bottom of the 7th. Eric Ibar showing bunt and pushes it foul up near third. It's 0-1. Anthony Recker was certainly the most interesting part of that 7th inning in a couple of ways. He had a 2 RBI single with the runners in motion down in front of Mike Trout. And then he had his first career stolen base soon after that. And a very interesting call for the second base umpire Fielding Culbreth to make. 0-1, jabbed at. Or did he pull back on a bunt attempt? I guess he did. It's 1-1. Recker went in there, and when we saw it on the replay, what it looked like is the ball kind of deflected off of Recker, and it went somewhere near the glove, into the glove or body of Ibar, who was spun around, had his back to the plate. Pitch is outside, 2-1. Fielding Culbreth, who never did run around to get a look at the other side of Eric Ibar, I guess was waiting to see, is that ball in Ibar's glove or not? Well, a funny thing happened all during that. The 2-1 dribbled up near third. It's foul, 2-2. It looked like, Howie, as long as Culbreth wasn't going to walk around the body of Ibar to see, hey, where is that baseball? Ibar looked like he was frantically trying to somehow nudge that ball from where it was between his legs on the dirt into his glove, like Culbreth would never notice.
It was right between his knees. And with Ibar essentially screening out Culbreth with his back.
Here's the 2-2 on the way from these. Curveball in the dirt, full count.
Ibar was hoping to get enough time to somehow slink that ball by kind of dropping his arms and seeing if he could, in an effortless manner, gather it in and then be able to say, well, here, it's in my glove, but he never could.
Culbreth never did walk the, I don't know, 1.5 feet that would have solved the mystery. 3-2 pitch, drifting outside, ball 4. In a 4-3 game, a guy that doesn't walk a lot walks right here to start the 7th inning. And up comes Raul Ibanez as we pause for station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri Honda dealer.
This is Kristen Marks, WOR New York. Details after the game.
Josh Lewin along with Howie Rose and a rally monkey jumping around on the scoreboard. The fans are into it. The Angels are losing, and that's fine with them because that means they get to see the monkey. Knees to the plate, and it's a smash right at first. It's grabbed by Davis, who will double off Ibar. 2 down. A hot shot, but right into the glove of Davis, who was playing near the line to start with, and that was a good idea. 2 out. And Iannetta coming up.
Couldn't have drawn that up any better because Ibanez hit an absolute rope. And Ibar, measuring his lead, was off the bag. His weight shifted towards second base, so he had no chance whatsoever to get back. And Ike Davis had the easiest double play I'll ever make.
Ibar caught with his hand in the cookie jar, so to speak, now at second base and at first base.
That'll learn him.
In this same inning. Here's the pitch to Iannetta, and it's low 1-0. Yeah, as you described it, Howie, that situation at second base. Remember in A Fish Called Wanda when they were trying to get the pen out of the fish? Just trying to distract the barrister long enough. The pitch is slow, and it's 2-0 to Iannetta now. And, I mean, you're right. I think Ibar was just trying in the few seconds he was allotted. Okay, how can I get out of this one? How can I fool this guy in charge? 2-0 pitch is low, 3-0. Actually, if memory serves now, I think that might have been Naked Gun, where there was a fish with a pen in him. But anyway.
Horse with a clock in its stomach. It's all the same.
The 3-0 pitch. He's swinging, and he dribbles it up near third. Wright charging, barehanding, firing. Got him! Nice play, David Wright. And Chris Iannetta, who homered earlier, unable to reach here. Finally, the 7th inning ends. Strange inning that it was. For the Angels, no runs, no hits, no errors, 2 movie references. And on to the 8th, it is the Mets 4, the Angels 3 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
The New York State Smokers Quit Line. Talk to your doctor or call
Flex Submariner with a trip-lock winding press.
710 WOR, your new radio home for New York Mets baseball.
Chris Iannetta, a 111 hitter, was swinging at 3-0. He rolls out to David Wright, who made a nice play on him. That retired the side. And when you're thinking about your retirement, our friends at Andriola Goldberg and Associates are there for you. The Mets have 4 runs on 4 hits, no errors. In fact, there have been no errors in this series. 3-6-0 for the Halos tonight, who are 5-5 coming in. The Mets 4-6. They've been checkerboarding wins and losses for this past week. Win and a loss, win and a loss, win and a loss. And they are due to win tonight. Here at the home of one World Series, the 2002 World Series champions were the Angels.
One near miss in 1986.
Yeah, and boy, I mean, we all know what happened on the National League side. The AL side of that was just as compelling, if not tragic. Talk more about that in a bit. Michael Kahn is on. We saw him yesterday, a right-hander. We'll open up with Eric Young in the 8th inning, and here's Howie.
All right, Josh, thanks. First pitch on the way to Young, batting left-handed. A fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Kahn worked an inning last night, and that was good enough to get him to win. He retired the Mets in order in the 11th. And in the bottom half, the Angels won the game. Here's the 0-1 to Young. That fastball hits the inside edge, 0-2. Michael Kahn of the Camden, South Carolina Cons, as a grandfather who was a 3-star admiral in the Navy. And his great uncle, a guy named Bob Sheehan, was in South Carolina's House of Representatives. The 0-2 on the way, a fastball high, 1-2. In fact, he had a cousin who was the Democratic candidate for governor in South Carolina just 4 years ago. So he comes from an accomplished political family. So top of the order for the Mets, Murphy and Wright to follow. Now Kahn with a 1-2 pitch. Broken bat roller up the third base line, kicks foul. The injury update is brought to you by InjuryLawyer.com. The Rothenberg Law Firm, fighting and winning on behalf of seriously injured clients for over 40 years. If you've been injured, call 1-800-624-8888 or visit InjuryLawyer.com. Chris Young will officially begin his rehab assignment with Las Vegas of the Pacific Coast League today. The Mets AAA affiliate should join the Mets perhaps even before they come home, maybe in Arizona and then play at Citi Field. 1-2 fastball outside, 2-2. Mets will be home next Friday to face the Braves. And Vic Black came back from the disabled list at Las Vegas, threw a scoreless inning last night with a couple of strikeouts at Fresno. Mets could still use Vic Black's arm back up here. 2-2 pitch, foul back to the screen. Now, in the Mets bullpen, it's Carlos Torres who's throwing now. Mentioned earlier that Kyle Farnsworth, in all likelihood, was unavailable tonight, and that appears to be the case. Gonzalez Hermin had been throwing while the Angels were batting in the bottom of the seventh. Terry Collins had said before the game that he might use Hermin for 2 innings, but that'd be a little step up in class here for Torres if he gets the 8th with a 1-run lead. That's where we're at now. It's 4-3 New York, starting the top of the 8th, and a 2-2 count on Eric Young Jr. EY 0 for 2 with a walk and a stolen base. And now Kahn comes set at the shoulders. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a roller to short. Charged by Ibar. He gloves, throws high. Pujols on the bag with the ball, and Young is out. Pujols just barely came down on that bag, if he ever did, before Young got there. And Terry Collins is going out to talk to the first base ump, Toby Basner. And already Terry is looking into the Mets dugout. He wants to get a sign as to whether or not this is going to be worth the challenge. We're looking at the replay now. I think he's out looking at the replay.
Yeah, and Terry, it looks like, has gotten the high sign from Bob Guerin, who's gotten it from Jim Kelly, who's the advanced scout that the Mets have bumped to that video review role. It all has to happen very quickly, but I'm sure that was the protocol. Jim Kelly looks at it in high def, tells Bob Guerin to tell Terry Collins, get back to the dugout, it's not worth it.
So, 1 away. Nice play by the shortstop, Eric Ibar. And it brings up Daniel Murphy, who is 0 for 3. Left-hand batter. Kahn's first pitch, a fastball high, 1-0. Mets fans, if you're suffering from joint pain and want an alternative to surgery, call the Ash Center for Comprehensive Medicine at 212-758-3200 or go to ashcenter.com. That's ashcenter.com. The 1-0 fastball fouled off of the mask of the home plate umpire, Sean Barber. And the count 1-1 to Murphy, who's grounded to short twice and popped to short.
We were talking earlier, Howie, about the Angels of '86, and they were 1 strike away a couple times.
Well, most famously, Donnie Moore giving up a home run which tied the game. I guess it was Dave Henderson who hit the home run with the Angels a strike away from winning what would have been their first American League pennant. 1-1 to Murphy. Now the pitch, fastball upstairs, 2-1. And sadly, some years later, Donnie Moore, who was despondent about things apart from simply that blown, well, ultimately pennant, committed suicide. 2-1 to Murphy. Now the pitch. Breaking ball, that's over for a called strike. It's 2-2 to Murph.
You know, the thing is, that was game 5. The Angels were leading 5-2 in the ninth. Couldn't hold it. And then Dave Henderson hits the home run, actually put the Sox ahead. People sometimes forget the Angels then tied the game in the bottom of the ninth. The Red Sox won it in 11. Then they had to go home and win games 6 and 7, which they did convincingly.
Here's the 2-2 to Murphy. Swing and a foul back to the screen. So, very conceivable that history would have been a lot kinder to Bill Buckner, and
sure,
the Mets would have had a different opponent. Who knows what would have happened. Speaking of Bill Buckner, during spring training I had the chance to read an advanced copy of Mookie Wilson's forthcoming autobiography, and it's pretty revealing in a lot of ways, one of which is quite simply he and Bill Buckner have become very close friends. 2-2 pitch, change-up, swung on and missed, strike 3. Murph tried to hold his swing and could not. And Kahn has his first strikeout. 2 men away, and David Wright coming up. Scoreboard update is sponsored by the New York Lottery. Everybody wins. Still some games in progress. The Astros are leading the Rangers. Well, let's see. I guess that's now tied. The the Rangers have tied that game in the bottom of the 9th inning. And now the Astros, we're told, batting in the 10th inning, have pushed a run across. So Houston leading Texas 6-5 in the 10th inning. David Wright 0 for 2 of the walk. First pitch on the way, a fastball fouled straight back upstairs, 0-1. Michael Choice picked the 9th inning for his first major league home run for the Rangers to tie that game. But now the Astros have broken that tie. Detroit 4, San Diego 2. That's at the end of 7 innings. Down in San Diego. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball missed inside to right. So the count even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Oakland 3, Seattle 1. There in the bottom of the 5th inning in Seattle. Josh Donaldson has hit his second home run. Dodgers 6, Diamondbacks 1. Pitch to right, taken for a called strike on the outside edge. 1-2. That game is at the end of 7 in Phoenix, where the Mets are headed after the game tomorrow. Right here, the Mets 4, the Angels 3, with 2 out on the top of the 8th inning. The outfield deep and straight away against right. Now the pitch. Breaking ball, just barely missed. I'll be honest, that's a call that the pitchers seemingly have gotten all night from Sean Barber. But he did not ring David Wright up there, and the count remains, or now is 2-2. Curtis Granderson on deck. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a liner foul down the right field line, slicing into the seats downstairs. David not able to get completely untracked here. He had his customary strong opening day. Seems David always does something good opening day. Had 3 hits, including a home run. And although he's had a hit in each of the 3 games preceding this one, he hasn't had a big night since the opener. Outfield very deep and straight up against him. Now Kahn set to the shoulder. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit going into center field for right. So David turns first and holds with the Mets' 5th hit of the night, a 2-out single. And that'll bring up Curtis Granderson. And again, it's worth mentioning now, as the Mets have 3 left-handed hitters in a row coming up, that there is no lefty in that Angels bullpen to counteract these left-handed batters.
From the Angels bullpen has been ripe for the picking most of this early 2014 season. That hit the pause button yesterday because they were very effective in that 5-4 extra inning win.
Granderson has walked twice, grounded to first. Infield overshifts, and Kahn steps off. Kahn just looked David Wright back to first base. Granderson, with that second inning grounded to first, is now just 1 for his last 19. 4-3 New York in the 8th. The pitch, fastball low, 1-0. Finale of this series will be tomorrow afternoon. Local time, they're going to start at 12:35, which of course is 3:35 back home in New York, and it'll be a couple of accomplished pitchers. Bartolo Colon against C.J. Wilson. The 1-0 to Granderson is low, 2-0.
Boy, Curtis has been up in the count in a... Pujols a swing and a little tapper pass, and near the mound, Familia's got it. He will underhand to first, and Pujols is retired. So are the Angels. Never did get over the mound. Jeurys Familia stepped in front of it, and we will go to the 11th. 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors both ways. Although the Angels have stranded 14, and the Mets have stranded 4. All 4s heading to the 11th on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your...
And will he be swinging here? The pitch, the swing, but he pops it up. Middle of the diamond. The shortstop Ibar to the right of second, leaves it for Kendrick, the second baseman, on the edge of the infield grass, who makes the catch, and that retires the side. No runs, a hit, 1 left. Middle of the 8th inning. The Mets 4, the Angels 3 on the WOR Mets Radio Network.
A Honda sales event is going on now.
That's 1-866-697-8487.
We head to the last of the 8th inning here in Anaheim. It's the Mets 4, the Angels 3. Jonathan Neese will start the bottom of the 8th inning. Now, he may only get this one batter, Cole Calhoun, because there are right-hand hitters galore behind him. But we'll see. First pitch on the way, a cutter, and that's hidden for a called strike, 0-1. Mets have had Carlos Torres throwing in the bullpen, and as he is still up, I have a feeling he may be coming in right after Calhoun. The 0-1 pulled on the ground to first. In a couple of steps, Davis. He's got it. Steps on the bag, one man away. And now let's see what Terry Collins does. And here he comes. And so he will apparently remove Jonathan Neese from this game, having thrown 96 pitches. Carlos Torres going to come on in a big spot, because not only are the Mets leading 4-3, but they've got Colin Cowgill next, and then Mike Trout with Albert Pujols behind him. So stay tuned. This pitching change, if it comes, has he made the call? Yes, he has. Okay, here comes Torres. So the pitching change sponsored by H2O Wireless. Check out H2OWirelessNow.com to find an amazing unlimited plan that works for you. Well, right-hander Carlos Torres will step up in class here as he is being asked to get a couple of outs in the bottom of the 8th inning with the Mets leading 4-3, and instead of facing Colin Cowgill, who homered off of Jonathan Neese, the departing pitcher, instead he'll face J.B. Shuck, who hit a home run last night off of Mets starter Dylan G. So Carlos Torres, who pitched an inning and a third of one-hit shutout ball last night, back on to face the lefty Shuck. The first pitch fastball in for a called strike, 0-1. Torres makes his 6th appearance. He's already 2-0 with a 1.69 ERA, giving up 1 run in 5 1/3 innings. And behind Shuck, it's Mike Trout. The 0-1 pitch, breaking ball, fouled straight down at home plate, 0-2. Torres pumping away here to get ahead of Shuck, 0-2. David Wright had been in tight at third. Now he drops back as Torres really works hard rubbing up a new ball. I want to make sure it's whatever slickness might have survived the Mississippi mud is now more to his liking. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swinging a chopper to the right side. Murphy over. Backhands, throws off balance, not nearly in time. It's an infield hit for J.B. Shuck.
Well, whether it's Shuck or Cowgill, the guys that are filling in for Josh Hamilton are really getting it done in a short sample. Here comes Trout.
Mike Trout in this game is 2 for 3. Hit back to the box in the first inning, singled to right in the 4th, and doubled in the 6th. So Shuck the runner at first with 1 out. The outfield is extremely deep. Perhaps the most shallow of the 3 is the left fielder Eric Young Jr. And that's to Trout's pull side. But Granderson really respecting Trout's power the other way in right. And Lagares deep and straight away in center. David Wright not far off the line at all at third. He's deep. He's behind the bag. Torres sets at the letters. Quick throw to first, and Shuck dives back in. Well, this is where the Angels want it at this moment, trailing by a run with a runner on. And we say this is where they want it, meaning the 2 guys who are coming up. Trout here, Pujols behind him. So Carlos Torres comes set. The first pitch to Trout, swinging a ground ball to short. Quintanilla's got it, underhands to Murphy, 1 on to first, double play, side retired. Carlos Torres throws the ground ball. Murphy hangs in against the tough slide at second base by J.B. Shuck. But before we go to break, we're going to hold on here because Mike Scioscia is trotting out to talk to the first base umpire, Toby Basner. And I'm not sure yet whether he's going to make a move to challenge here. We're getting a look at a replay now on the play at first base. He's out, I think. That ball looked like it was in Davis's glove before the foot of Trout came down onto the bag. That's from one angle we're seeing. Meanwhile, in the Angels dugout, they've got somebody on the phone relaying information. And Mike Scioscia and the umpires just looking in there, and they want to know what the deal is. Are they going to challenge or not? Apparently not. And so from the dugout comes word that what we just saw will stand. A 6-4-3 double play, side retired, no runs a hit, nobody left. At the end of 8 innings, the Mets 4, the Angels 3 on the WOR Mets Radio Network.
Fred Associated or Compare Supermarket with incredible specials, such as a 28-quart of Lipton iced tea for $4.99, a 5-pound bag of Gold Medal flour for just $1.69, and a gallon of Crisco.
He did in the Angels dugout, and Mike Scioscia was out there waiting for instructions as to whether or not to challenge. He did not. And so we go to the 9th inning, and Dane De La Rosa, who had such an effective year out of the bullpen for the Angels last year, makes his season's debut off the DL facing Ike Davis. First pitch, fastball is high, 1 ball and no strikes. De La Rosa was activated after missing the first 9 games because of elbow inflammation. He was 6-1 last year with a 2.86 ERA. Ike 0 for 3. The pitch, fastball is high, ball 2.
De La Rosa was an independent league vagabond for 5 years. Pitched everywhere from Yuma to Long Beach to Southern Maryland. And he ended up getting into 75 games as an Angel last year.
J.B. Shuck stayed in the game in left field. The 2-0 on the way, a fastball in for a called strike. Shuck hit for Colin Cowgill. And so the Mets have dodged the Trout bullet, but still have to deal with Pujols leading off the bottom of the 9th inning. So the Mets could really use another run here at a minimum. They lead 4-3. The 2-1 to Davis. Inside breaking ball. Almost clipped him in the leg. The count 3-1. Jose Valverde has been throwing in the Mets bullpen.
And Pujols, by the way, Howie, 0 for 11 lifetime against Valverde. So if you need the right guy to start up the inning, you got him.
3-1 to Davis. De La Rosa kicks and deals. High, ball 4. So De La Rosa facing his first batter of the season walks him. And the Mets get the leadoff man on here in the 9th inning. It's 5 walks drawn by the Mets after not drawing 1 in 11 innings last night. It was the 6th time in the history of the Angels franchise that they had thrown 11 or more innings in a game without walking a batter. Now Lucas Duda, who homered his first time up and also singled in 3 trips, will be the batter.
And back to your point about last night, I can't remember a time where the Mets got outwalked by 10. 10-0 was that final tally.
Well, now Duda hit a home run to center field his first time. Davis a short lead at first. Pujols holding. Overshift on the infield. 3 on the right side. And the first pitch on the way. Fastball low inside. Ball 1. Even though this is De La Rosa's first appearance of the year, he'd had a couple of rehab appearances with Arkansas, their AA affiliate, over the last week. So it's not as though he is all that cold. At the major league level, yes. 1-0 the count to Duda. Now the pitch. And a breaking ball low inside. Ball 2. Duda is the last in the series of 3 consecutive left-handed batters that the Mets have in their lineup. Again, with no lefty in the Angels bullpen to counteract them. And a walk to Davis leading off, and now 2-0 to Duda. Good spot for Lucas here. De La Rosa sets up with the shoulder. Now the pitch. Fastball right down the middle for a called strike. Well, I'll tell you what. Sometimes your view, your perspective can be a little jaded from up here. So maybe that pitch was a little further down in the zone than Lucas wanted it or whatever. But, man, that was a good-looking pitch on 2-0, which is where you're geared up.
Yeah, 89-mile-an-hour meatball.
2-1 the count. Now the pitch. Swing and a foul down the right field side. He got jammed and fisted it into the seats, and now it's 2-2.
Yeah, same velocity on those last 2 pitches. One was center of the plate and one was running in.
Boy, that 2-0 looked like a good pitch to hit, though.
Yep.
Angels keep the bullpen up. They've got Kevin Jepson throwing. 2-2 to Duda. Now the pitch. Breaking ball popped in the air to left center field. Fairly deep. Playable, though. Overcomes Shuck, the left fielder, to make the catch in the gap. And back to first goes Duda.
Now, Duda didn't quite strike it to where he could drive it. You like the approach to go to left center field. You want more line drives, very simply, from Lucas Duda. Hitting a lot of fly balls. One of them got out tonight, and that's fine. But when he's really going right, Terry Collins actually says he's going left center, if that makes sense.
So now Juan Lagares will be the batter. He had another big hit. RBI single in the 7th inning, which brought the Mets to within 1 run, and then Recker drove home 2. Recker is on deck. First pitch, Lagares takes a fastball low and away. So Juan now has 7 runs batted in. His 6th RBI last year.
Catch there at the end as he ran away from them and right down a 5-4. Mets never did get that. 5 runs on 11. Got John Neese on the mound.
Wild Wings, Beer, Sports. Infield back at double play depth. Davis at second, Lagares at first. The 1-0 on the way. Fastball, he can't hold a swing. Recker goes around at strike 1.
Jepson, a guy with a lightning 4-seamer and a real good cutter. Had a rough year last year, including a shoulder sprain and an appendectomy that kept him out.
1-1 the count. Davis, hands on hips as he leads from second. Lagares stretches the lead out at first. And the 1-1. Breaking ball low outside. Ball 2. Recker, who had that 2-run single off the glove of a diving Mike Trout in the 7th inning to give New York the lead, now has a chance to give him a little insurance. The third baseman, David Freese, pretty close to the line and behind the bag. Recker with good power. The 2-1. Taken outside. Ball 3. Now the on-deck hitter is Omar Quintanilla. And again, the Mets don't have a left-handed bat available as a pinch hitter. No left-handed bats on the Mets bench. No left-handed relievers in the Angels bullpen. So it may come down to Quintanilla. 3-1 the count to Recker. Here's the pitch. Swinging a fly ball down the right field line, slicing into the right field corner and foul ground and into the seats out of play. So a full count now.
Well, it's been a while that Valverde's been up and warming for the Mets. He sat down once, got back up again. Now just seems to be kind of pacing back and forth out there in the Mets pen.
I was talking to him on the homestand about how, it seemed a little unusual to see a closer get up in the middle of a game, but he says that's been his routine for 18 years. Just wants to throw a little bit, loosen up. He's more than ready to go now. 3-2, the pitch to Recker. Outside, ball 4. He missed with a fastball, and the bases are loaded. Now, Jepson certainly seemed a little annoyed that he didn't get that call. Mike Scioscia sort of stoic with his expression in the Angels dugout. And now Omar Quintanilla has had a good night defensively. Will bat with the bases loaded. Quintanilla grounded to third, slide to left, and struck out. So that's 6 walks drawn by the Mets on a night when they drew none in 11 innings 24 hours earlier.
Now, Omar in his big league career has 1 3 RBI game, and if he can put one in the alley here, he'll have his second.
So Jepson works from the stretch. First pitch to Quintanilla. Lined over second, base hit center field. Davis scores. Lagares around third, coming home. Trout's throw will go to third. Stopping at second, Recker. On at first with a 2-run single is Omar Quintanilla, and the Mets have a 6-3 lead.
Well, finally, not only are they drawing walks, Howie, but those walks are coming around to score. Their first 4 walks drawn tonight, nothing happened. But since then, everybody who's walked has scored. Actually, let's see if Recker can come all the way in, because that would mean literally everybody. Recker just walked to precede the Quintanilla base hit, his first all season.
Well, you just size enough how huge even one of those 2 runs were, because Pujols leads off the bottom of this inning. So now he can't really hurt you too much. Eric Young Jr., left-handed batter, takes a fastball for a called strike, 0-1.
And that double play turned, obviously, is huge to end the bottom of the 8th. You cleared Mike Trout.
And the guy who was instrumental in doing that was Omar Quintanilla, engineering or initiating the double play. So Omar's had a good night in his first start of the year, and the Mets have a 3-run lead. 0-1 pitch, swung on and missed, 0-2.
This will be another win for Carlos Torres, Howie. He'd have 3 of the Mets' 5 wins this year.
That will be up to Mr. Valverde to preserve. This is nothing unusual, of course, for the Mets to be in front, as they have had the lead now in 10 of the 11 games they've played this year.
Actually, I misspoke. Nice is online for the win, right? Because he went 7.
Yes, they were leading 4-3 when Nice left the game in the bottom of the 8th inning with 1 out. Here's the 0-2. Change up outside.
They'll give an assist, though, or they call it a hold these days. That was a bunch of fancy stepping that Torres had to do, getting that double play ball from Mike Trout.
As soon as that ball went into center field off Quintanilla's bat and the 2 runs scored, now a bunch of people got up to lead.
Yeah.
And this game started earlier than usual. 1-2 pitch to Young. Inside, he hit him. Eric Young hit by the pitch. That's going to reload the bases. Looked like it got him around the hip or the small of the back. And now Daniel Murphy will bat with the bases full. And I think this is Mike Scioscia rather than the pitching coach Mike Butcher, who's trotting out to the mound to have a word with his pitcher. And Eric Young Jr. hit by the pitch will give the Mets 3 aboard again. His record goes to 3rd and Quintanilla to 2nd.
Well, we talked earlier about how the Angels bullpen has been a dumpster fire early here in 2014. Their one good game really was yesterday. And now all kinds of problems ever since Jared Weaver angrily left the game in the 7th inning. Here's Murphy, who never has had a major league grand slam.
Well, tonight he doesn't have a hit. He'll certainly take one of those. Recker at 3rd, Quintanilla at 2nd, Young at 1st. The first pitch, and Murph takes low, 1-0.
The Mets are doing a great job of growing the count tonight. They've been ahead, if not 1-0. If not 2-0, 3-0, at least 1-0, a lot tonight.
Murphy trying to basically bust this open as best you can when you've got a 3-run lead and the bases are loaded. Jepson to the belt, a 1-0. Fastball hit foul down the left field line, slicing towards the seats and out of play. Shuck came over for a look, but it's well beyond his reach, and the count 1-1 to Daniel Murphy.
And the Mets are steering this, Howie, to where it might not be necessary for Valverde. At least it wouldn't be a save situation with one more run.
Well, Valverde got into a game with a 4-run lead in Atlanta on Tuesday night, and he was not all that sharp, like many closers in a non-save situation. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss at a changeup. And it's 1-2 on Daniel Murphy. You know, Terry Collins did want to move off of Valverde should the Mets really break this open. Well, he's got some choices out there between John Lannon and Scott Rice probably. We're going to use lefties there, but kind of hard to with all those right-handed bats coming up. 1-2 pitch. Swing on a liner foul down the third base line. Mets would love to get Scott Rice in particular straightened out, because he has not been anywhere near as sharp or effective early this year as he was from the outset last year. Terry Collins is wondering about, sometimes when you pitch a lot the way Rice did last year, first time at the major league level, maybe it's going to take a month or even 2 months for him to find that form again, but a lot of times teams don't have that kind of time. 1-2 to Murphy. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with a slider, and Murphy down on strikes for the second out, and David Wright now will bat with the bases loaded.
And to your point on Rice, he's got options, as in options to go to the minor leagues, but the Mets don't have options, if that makes sense. Other lefties that could step in and fill that void.
One guy who probably could get some left-handers out is Rafael Montero, because he's got a great changeup. But the plan for Sandy Alderson and the Mets front office all along has been to let those kids really develop until the need is acute at the major league level, or they're just ready and there's no reason to keep them down there any longer. Well, right now, here is David Wright. 6-3 New York. Bases loaded, 2 out, top of the 9th. First pitch, outside with a slider, ball 1.
And Howie, tonight, it's basically the last 2 position players on the roster, Recker and Quintanilla, who have done the bulk of the heavy lifting. They've accounted for 2/3 of the runs batted in.
Big hits. Recker a 2-run single to give the Mets the lead in the 7th. And then the 2-run hit by Quintanilla to give them breathing room here in the 9th, and they'd like even more of that. 1-0 to Wright. The pitch. Swing and a liner in the air to right field. Pretty deep. Going back Calhoun. He'll have a play. Makes the catch as he moves laterally towards the line right in front of the warning track. That retires the side. Well, the Mets get a couple. They would have liked more. So you hope leaving the bases loaded doesn't come back to bite them. They settle for 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors. And 3 men left. Middle of the 9th inning. The Mets 6, the Angels 3 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
For lunch?
I don't know.
Don't know. Well,
Pitch-by-pitch tracking, classic games, and more. Download this award-winning MLB.com and Bat app on the App Store or visit Mets.com today. Jose Valverde answers the call for the closer, sponsored by First Equity Title and Closing. What does your title company do for you? Visit 1stequity.com. What Valverde can do for the Mets is give them a split in this series to this point if he can get through. Some tough customers in this Angels batting order. For Valverde, this is his 6th appearance. In 5 1/3 innings, he has yet to give up a run. 4 hits, just 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts.
And he's never given up a hit to this dangerous Mr. Pujols. 0 for 11.
This is where you want him, leading off an inning when you have a 3-run lead. So Valverde sets. First pitch to Pujols. Fastball is high, ball 1. A couple of guys from the Dominican Republic. Albert Pujols, Jose Valverde. Outfield pretty much straight away against Pujols. Valverde to the belt. Takes a deep breath, now deals. And a fastball low, 2-0. Remember, Pujols last time up eventually fouled out to the catcher Anthony Recker. But during that at-bat, he was charged with a strike that he strongly disagreed with. Home plate Sean Barber is the one who got under Pujols' skin. And Albert was slamming his bat against each of his shoes as he headed back to the Angels dugout. He was disgusted with that one particular pitch that he didn't get from Barber. Now he's ahead in the count 2-0 with the Angels needing base runners down by 3. Valverde ready. Now the pitch. Fastball right down the middle. Looked like Pujols taking all the way in the count 2-1. Just a smart take on the part of Pujols.
Yep, they need base runners here, down 3.
The hit won 9 miles. And it wouldn't make that much of a difference. They need 2 base runners to get that tying run to the plate. 2-1 the count. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss. Valverde with a fastball at 92 and the count 2-2. Now Pujols knows, especially with that 0 for 11, Valverde's going to change up, throw him the split, but that fastball is such an important weapon for Valverde, and he's been able to keep that velocity up rather consistently since the latter part of spring training. After a slow start, 2-2 pitch, swing and a ground ball to short. To his left, Quintanilla scoops it up, throws to first, in time, 1 away. So they get Pujols. 1 down, and Howie Kendrick coming up.
Now it's all righty power here. Pujols, Kendrick, Freese. And Valverde, 36 years old now. 290 career saves, got 49 of them in 1 year for Detroit. 49 for 49 for the man they lovingly call Papa Grande.
Looking for his 3rd of this year. Kendrick, nothing out of 3. Right-hand batter, first pitch, way outside with a fastball, 1-0. That one at 94 miles an hour. Valverde a little ticked off at himself, shaking his head as he grabs the ball back from Anthony Recker.
Jose doesn't have any kind of follow-through. Everything that is necessary to get that up and through is there's just a lot placed on his arm.
1-0 the count. Now the pitch. Kendrick takes the fastball for a called strike 1. Mets Baseball is brought to you by RE/MAX, as your real estate agent, only showing you the listings they want you to see. Visit RE/MAX.com now and see all the listings in New York State. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. 6-3 New York. 1 out, nobody on last of the night. Valverde delivers. Swing and a foul ball going back upstairs between home and first, and it's 1-2.
When you don't have that follow-through, you abruptly stop that arm. You're stopping your natural progression after the release. That kind of whip back motion while he's standing straight up. Pitching coaches say that's called slamming on the brakes. You're supposed to ease into the brakes. He really just kind of jabs at him.
This is not a guy who seemingly eases into anything. The 1-2 on the way just missed a fastball, 2-2.
No, it's unorthodox to look at. But, again, 200, very close to 290 career saves now. He gets a little bit of rope to do it his way.
And to see him away from the mound is a bit of a paradox. He gives you the appearance of being a laid-back guy, just sitting casually around the clubhouse or in the dugout perhaps before a game. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch to Kendrick. Fastball high, ball 3. For all the animation on the mound, he seems almost the opposite away from it. It's not an act. It's the adrenaline that fuels his performance and some of the idiosyncrasies that go along with it. Grabbing a little dirt from in front of the rubber and now pausing to the right of it, taking a little longer. His pace is slower in this inning than it has been in some of the other innings with save situations we've seen him in so far. 3-2 to Kendrick. Here's the pitch. Swing and a looper to shallow right. Coming on, Granderson reaches out and makes the catch. 2 men away. And Valverde off the mound, tugs at his cap, takes it off, does a deep bend, pounds his fist into the glove. He's not jumping around. That comes later after he finishes the save, if he does. But, you know, for a guy who is at one time sedentary and at others frenetic, the paradox that is Jose Valverde continues to shine in a role that was not envisioned for him when spring training started. He has been nothing short of brilliant. So here's David Freese with 2 out. The first pitch, fastball in for a call, strike 1. Freese is 0 for his last 14, including 0 for 3 tonight. 6-7-0 for the Mets, 3-7-0 for the Angels. Valverde to the belt. Now the 0-1 pitch. Fastball high and away. 1-1. Angels need 2 base runners, Freese and the guy behind him, Ibar. And after that, it's a right-handed hitter with power, Raul Ibanez. 1-1 the count to Freese. Here's the pitch. Swinging a chopper foul over by the Angels dugout on the third base side. Now Valverde a strike away. Ahead in the count, 1-2. And this time, not taking quite as much deliberation between pitches, although now again he steps away from the rubber, picks up a piece of dirt, and just flings it away. Staring straight down, now takes a deep breath and looks into Recker for the sign. He's ready. The 1-2 pitch, and there's the change in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Good memories for Valverde about this mound and this ballpark. He pitched in the All-Star game here in 2010, and it was a quick and easy inning. He struck out the side, getting Marlon Byrd, and essentially the man who's replacing Marlon Byrd this year, Chris Young, for 2 of those 3.
Now it's David Freese, a one-time World Series hero that Valverde is trying to put away to end the game. 2-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Swinging a ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit going into center field. So Freese takes a turn and holds on. Lagares plays it back in, and now if Eric Ibar reaches, that's when you hold on to your hats, because behind Ibar you've got a 301 lifetime home run hitter, Raul Ibanez, and a left-hand batter as well waiting next. So Freese breaks an 0 for 14. His run again means nothing. Mets aren't concerned about him. In fact, Ike Davis not even bothering to hold him yet, because with a left-hand batter up, Eric Ibar, really no need to hold him. You just want to take some of that hole away on the right side of the infield. They're not in the least concerned with Freese. David Wright, even with a bag at third, now steps in onto the edge of the infield grass. Ibar 0 for 2 of the walk. Valverde's pitch shows bunt, pulls it back, and Ibar takes low, 1-0. We have seen that Raul Ibanez has quite the flair for the dramatic. He is a batter on deck that Valverde would prefer not to have to face. And now he's behind Ibar, 1 ball and no strikes.
Not that you felt like you needed the extra runs after you got it to 6-3, but bases loaded for Murphy. He struck out, and David Wright flied out.
1-0 the count. The pitch, high, ball 2. He missed with a fastball. And in case you're wondering, Raul Ibanez, the on-deck hitter, is 2 for 4. Small sample against Valverde. Does not have a home run against him. And that's what you worry about if Ibar finds his way on here. See if he's taking 2-0. You would imagine that he would. Well, again, Valverde going through a little extra gyrations as he just kind of tilts his head rather vigorously backwards. Now takes the sign from Recker. The 2-0 pitch. Inside, ball 3. And Valverde starting to make this a little sticky. 3-0 on Eric Ibar.
The guy that didn't have a 2-walk game all last year, Howie, and he's got the possibility now of walking twice in 3 innings tonight.
So you would imagine that Ibar might well take 2 pitches here from Valverde. Certainly he'll take 3-0 with that tying run in the on-deck circle. Davis playing behind the runner, freeze at first. Here's the 3-0, and it's a fastball down the middle, strike 1. So now will Ibar take another one as the Angels desperately want to get this game into the hands of Raul Ibanez. David Wright stays in tight at third. Ibar taking a little extra time working on his batting gloves with Valverde waiting for him on the rubber. 6-3 New York. 2 out, last of the ninth. 3-1 the count on Ibar. Valverde sets at the belt. Here's the pitch. Outside and low, ball 4. And the Angels will bring the tying run to the plate in a dangerous customer, even at the age of 41, Raul Ibanez. Here comes Dan Wathan, the pitching coach, on his way to the mound to try and settle Valverde down.
Well, Ibanez had the hit that kick-started the rally for the Angels in the 11th yesterday. That was career hit number 1999 for him. Number 2000 here would make things really interesting.
Well, you go back to the 2012 American League Championship Series when Ibanez had quite the flair for the dramatic, in particular for the Yankees, and specifically against Valverde. Remember a couple of games in a row, and won twice in a game. Ibanez had home runs. Well, he did it once against Valverde. That's when Valverde imploded, eventually lost his closer's job. And now Ibanez represents the tying run with 2 out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 6-3 New York. Valverde's first pitch inside, pops out of the mid of Recker, ball 1. The guy on deck is Chris Iannetta. And he's got some power, as he showed in the 5th inning when he homered.
So you referenced that 2012 postseason. It was a 4-0 9th inning lead that he had against the Yankees, and then the 2-run homers to Ichiro and this guy, Ibanez.
Here the Mets overshift the infield. They've got 3 on the right side with both Quintanilla and Murphy on the outfield grass. Valverde to the belt, the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a fly ball to deep right field, and this game is tied. Raul Ibanez launches one deep into the seats in right field, and Jose Valverde has given it up. The Angels have tied the game 6-6 as Raul Ibanez channels 2012 just as Jose Valverde does as well.
And for career hit 2000, that's a biggie. 1 out away. And, well, these fans are all still here because they're waiting for a fireworks show.
They just got one.
Yeah, they did. With the rally monkey jumping around on the scoreboard, these fans going crazy right now. And, yeah, all of a sudden, here's Iannetta, who's starting to get rolling again, and he can win it.
Iannetta 1 for 3, a home run. And the first pitch on the way, foul straight back this way, right into the booth to our right, the Angels radio booth. And the count 0-1 on Iannetta. Valverde got the first 2. He got Pujols to ground out. He got Kendrick to fly out. And again, you think back to that top of the 9th when the Mets could have had more than 2. The 0-1 pulled on the ground towards third, a foul ball. Now it's 0-2 to Iannetta. And so the Mets ruing the fact that neither Murphy nor Wright were able to give the Mets further insurance than what was by then a 6-3 lead. Now it's 6-6.
Ibanez will be 42 in July. He can still do it. That was about 10 rows back over an 18-foot high wall.
0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And we will go to extra innings for the second straight night. For the Angels, 3 runs on 2 hits. No errors, nobody left. We go to the 10th. The Mets 6, the Angels 6. On the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Hitting a baseball is an art and a science. Handling a catastrophic injury case is an art.
Seed chosen by the Yankees grounds crew.
Well, we head to the 10th inning. That did not appear very likely just about 5-10 minutes ago. Valverde got the first 2 in the 9th inning. And then a single, a walk, and an Ibanez. And here we are for the second straight night going to extra innings. And since there will be no save situation available for the Angels closer, as they are the home team in this tie game, just as the Mets closer could not do his job, now Ernesto Frieri will come on to try and do his and give the Angels a shot to win it. In the bottom of the 10th inning, the Mets are going to have their 3 left-handed hitters due up, Granderson, Davis, and Duda. But it's the Angels' left-hand hitting Raul Ibanez who's the story at this moment.
Yep, he got a fastball to his liking, and he turned on it. You know, only 7 players have ever had a 400 at-bat season in their age 42 season. Ibanez, again, will turn 42 this summer. The Angels are pretty much banking on the fact that he'll become the 8th ever. He was off to a slow start this year, but then he just rocked that one for career base hit number 2,000. A 3-run homer that ties it. And now here are the Mets with 4, 5, 6 in the order in the top of the 10th against Frieri. Granderson, and we've talked about this, every hit he's had, not too many of them yet as a Met, they've all gone for extra bases. Outfield deep, infield shifting, and the pitch is high from Frieri, 1-0. Frieri, 37 saves last year, but also allowed 11 home runs. 10 of them on fastballs. Granderson cocks the bat, the 1-0 pitch, outside, 2-0. Frieri's got kind of a funky delivery that includes crossing his front leg over his back leg. And then kind of a herky-jerky move with his hand. And he can bring that ball in there at about 95 miles an hour. 6-6 in the 10th inning. The pitch. A called strike on the outside edge, 2-1. Wendy's new salads are irresistible with flavors like barbecue ranch chicken featuring fire-roasted corn and applewood smoked bacon, or the new under 400-calorie Asian cashew chicken with roasted edamame. Granderson, 2 walks in this game, also a ground out and a pop out. Popped out on 3-0. 2-1 is inside, 3 balls and a strike, and he's been ahead in the count now in every at-bat tonight. Mets have been getting on base because of walks tonight. They didn't do that at all yesterday. They've also had a man hit by a pitch. That was Eric Young. Here comes the 3-1 to Granderson. He swings and he pops it up. Foul ground third base side. It's going to drift back in the crowd. And again, this is a shade unusual to see a crowd in a 3-hour ball game still pretty much all here in this ballpark. They're waiting on the fireworks show. Last night it was the Mets who emptied much of the bullpen in the middle of the game. And the Angels have done that tonight. They've gone with Salas and Kahn, De La Rosa, Jepson, and now Frieri. To the belt is Ernesto Frieri, the native Colombian. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Fastball to the inside. Running in on Granderson for that first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Ike Davis, who's 0 for 3. Then you look to the bottom of the 10th. You know that Mike Trout is going to bat, and Albert Pujols is a possibility. It's going to be 9-1-2 in the order coming up.
At last look, Scott Rice, and he's still up, throwing in the Mets bullpen. He's the only one. Calhoun, a left-hand batter, and then another left-hand hitter, Shuck. The first 2 batters due up. in the bottom of the 10th, but then you get to Trout and Pujols if needed.
Davis, left-hand batter, deep in the box. Pitch to him is fouled straight back, 0-1. Ike is 4 out of 17 for his season and has actually walked more often than he has struck out. It is 4-3. There was never a point last year where he was anything close to that. In fact, at one point last year, it was 3 walks and 23 strikeouts. Outfield very deep. Here's the kick in the 0-1. Off speed outside, 1-1 now. Well, and just to reconstruct or deconstruct that bottom of the 9th again, 2 reasonably quick outs for Valverde. And then Freese singled by rolling one right up the middle, breaking an 0 for 14. Here's a 1-1 to Davis, a swing, and he loops it down the left field line. Shuck in pursuit of it. It'll turn away foul into the crowd. It's all right. I mean, it's a 6-3 game. You give up a little base hit up the middle to Freese. No big whoop. But then I think the key, Howie, is Ibar. He fell behind 3-0 on Ibar. Fought back, but then walked him. We mentioned Ibar, a guy with only 22 walks all of last year. Never had a 2-walk game. Had 23 walks the year before that and only 1 2-walk game. But he's got a 2-walk game tonight, and that second walk was a precursor to that Raul Ibanez home run.
And that's how the inning set up from the beginning. You wanted to keep it away from Ibanez.
1-2 delivery is due to Davis, and here it comes. Swing and a foul back. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. The Angels and Mets traded runs early. And then the Halos with 1 in the 5th and 6th off John Meese. The Mets hopped on top with a 3-run top of the 7th. Added 2 in the 9th, but only 2. They left the bases loaded. Then the Angels tied it up. We are 6-6 in the 10th. Here's the pitch. Taken just off the plate outside, and it goes to 2-2. Sean Barber's strike zone has been inconsistent tonight, but much, much better than what happened a week ago in that A's-Mariners game, where everybody complained and very loudly. The 2-2 pitch. Swing, and it's lifted in the air to left center. That ball travels pretty well, but Shuck is moving over, makes the catch. Shy of the track, 2 down. It's a much different ballpark, the way it plays at night versus during the day. And tomorrow afternoon, and it's not supposed to be much more than about 67, 68 degrees tomorrow, but even with that, you'll see the ball carry a little bit differently, a little bit better in the afternoon. Lucas Duda's the batter, and he hit one that carried all the way out back in the 2nd inning. His 3rd home run of the season. No other Met has more than 1. The shift is on for big Lucas Duda. And the pitch to him, rifled outside, 1-0. A single into left and a run scored in the 7th inning for Duda. Also the home run, otherwise a strikeout and a flyout. 6-6 tie in the 10th inning. Ernesto Frieri fires and catches the outside corner, 1-1. Alexi Amarista came the other way from the Padres in the trade that the Angels made with their neighbors to the south. Setting at the belt, Frieri is ready. And steers in the 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1. The Mets do not have a hit tonight from the top 2 spots in their order. Daniel Murphy's 0 for 5. Eric Young is 0 for 3. Granderson and Davis are hitless. David Wright has only 1 hit. Pretty much all the thump has been from the 6 through 9 part of the order. The 2-1 delivery. Swing and foul back this way. That one in on his hands. So let's see, 1 through 5 in the order. They're 1 for 19. But after that, Duda, Lagares, Recker, and Quintanilla, they've accounted for all of the runs batted in and 4 of the runs scored. The shot troops getting it done tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Bouncing ball back to the mound, and Frieri's got it. Underhand toss to first is low, down at the shins of Pujols, but he's got it. And now the Angels will look to win it in the bottom of the 10th. Trout will bat. He's due 3rd. And the Mets will make a pitching change, too. Scott Rice is going to enter action. 6-6 tie on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Qualified, a free nicotine replacement starter pack. That's 1-866-697-8487.
Wendy's new salads are irresistible with flavors like barbecue ranch chicken featuring fire-roasted corn and applewood smoked bacon, or the new under 400-calorie Asian cashew chicken with roasted edamame. Here we go to the bottom of the 10th. This game's tied at 6. There have been, and I've been counting tonight, no fewer than 11 different rally monkey montages on that scoreboard. Uncle.
Well, they don't do it until, obviously, they're behind, but also until the 6th inning. So it's not like if they fall behind 1-0 in the first inning, they start with the rally monkey right away. But once they start, they don't stop.
No. It's a flowing river of climate at that point.
Mets would not like to see that sawed-off varmint for a while.
Well, Scott Rice will try to keep him from jumping around here. Scott has not had a good start to this season. Native of this area from up north of L.A. instead of south of L.A. where we are. But he's got friends and family here to watch him pitch and wants to represent well now, facing Cole Calhoun, a lefty. It was a lefty that tied this game in the bottom of the 9th with a 3-run homer. Raul Ibanez off Papa Grande. Pitch to Calhoun. Will drop in for a strike outside corner, 0-1. Ibanez, by the way, has the highest career batting average of anybody ever in this stadium. The history of this stadium, and more than 150 trips to the plate. That's the floor of that stat. The 0-1 is served outside 1-1. So when the Angels were pondering what to do about getting some left-handed thump for their lineup to supplement Josh Hamilton, even though Ibanez is 41, turning 42, I think they look very hard at that. A career .350 hitter here. And he belted a 3-run home run to make this 6-6. 1-1 to Calhoun on the way. Swing, bouncing ball foul. Back behind the plate, it's 1-2.
This will only be a 2-batter assignment for Rice. He's got to get the lefties Calhoun and Shuck. And then when Trout comes up with Pujols behind him, it's Gonzalez Herman who's getting ready in the Mets bullpen.
Calhoun is 0 for 3 tonight. He was flied out, struck out, and bounced out. Plenty of room for him in right center. Lagares tilted over towards left center. The wind and the 1-2 way outside and low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, again, the Mets trying to keep that checkerboard pattern going of wins and losses. They've been alternating now for a week. And this pattern, if it holds, they're due for a W. Looked like they had it until Ibanez swung the bat. Base is clear, nobody out. The 2-2 from Rice is low. Now the Angels back in the 1st, in the 4th, in the 6th, the 7th. They had the leadoff man on. And they're close now to getting that again here in the 10th. Rice staring in for the sign. Record setting up shop near the outside corner. Here it comes. Swing, and it's bounced towards short on one hop. Quintanilla has got it. Throwing across chest level. In plenty of time to Ike Davis, one away. J.B. Shuck will come up. He's the guy that hit one right down the line last night for a home run. Just the third he's ever hit in the major leagues. He's only got a handful in the minor leagues. And Scott Rice was one of the toughest lefty-on-lefty matchups in the majors last year. Opponents hit 174 against them if they were left-handed. Righties were another story, 362, so basically double.
And this year the lefties were 2 for 4 until that at-bat by Calhoun.
So now Shuck. And the pitch to him. Off the outside corner and off the glove of Recker. Count 1-0. Shuck was a Buckeye, the Ohio State University. David Wright plays off the bag at third. Pretty much even with the bag and well off the line. Here's the 1-0, lefty to lefty. Tapper past the mound. Murphy ranging over towards the bag at second. He's got it and throws. Shuck is out. 2 ground ball outs, and that's what Scott Rice is around for, really. All right, so you've got Trout coming up. Terry Collins is on the top step. He's talking to Dan Worthen. Trout is announced. And Terry's not coming out yet.
Well, that would be quite the surprise.
Right? Well, Gonzalez Herman is ready, but now, here he comes.
Well, Ricky Bones just waved that white towel in the Mets bullpen to indicate that Herman was ready, and it may be that Herman, for whatever reason, just needed a little more time.
A little cooler night than you might have thought, and maybe just needed a little bit extra time. Rice will be asked to go out. Herman has come just 1 for 12 against him this year, but this is not your garden variety righty who's coming up. This is Mike Trout, who is arguably the top player in the sport. If you don't think Miguel Cabrera is, it's probably this guy. Bases are clear. 2 out. And here is Trout, who hit into a double play last time up. Herman, the changeup artist, will wind and fire and bring it right in there for a strike. Starts him with a fastball down the middle, 0-1. Herman has retired 18 of the last 20 batters that he's faced. 5 straight scoreless innings for him. But right now it's Trout and then Pujols on deck. The 0-1 hit high in the air, stays in the infield, way up there. Murphy looking for it, waves, moves, makes the catch behind the bag at second, barely out of the outfield grass, inning over. Gonzalez Herman wins against Mike Trout, and the Angels go quietly. No runs, hits, or errors, nobody left. And for the second straight night, as they said in Spinal Tap, this one goes to 11. We're tied at 6 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Wendy's presents a
half a dozen runs for the Mets and half a dozen for the Angels. Will play the 11th inning, and former Met Joe Smith will take over on the mound. He's going to face the bottom third of the Mets batting order, but that's just fine because that bottom third of the Mets batting order tonight, well, they've chipped in with 4 hits and 5 runs batted in. Terry Collins, who used to manage here in Anaheim for the 1997 through 99 Angels, trying to get a win against his former team. Looked like it was absolutely in the bank with a 6-3 lead with 1 out left to get. Jose Valverde gave up a long 3-run home run to Raul Ibanez. Shades of the 2012 AL playoffs, the Tigers and the Yankees. Now, as we hit the 11th inning, here's Howie Rose.
All right, thank you very much, Josh. And it's Joe Smith, the former Met, who signed a nice, juicy 3-year deal with the Angels prior to this season, working the 11th against Juan Lagares. First pitch, fastball to the knees for a called strike 1. As you may have heard, Wendy's new salads are irresistible, with flavors like barbecue ranch chicken, featuring fire-roasted corn and applewood smoked bacon. The 0-1 on the way, fouled straight down at home plate, 0-2. Or for that matter, the new under 400-calorie Asian chicken, cashew chicken that is, with roasted edamame. Anthony Recker on deck, and then Omar Quintanilla. Mike Scioscia's down to 1 reliever in his bullpen. That's Matt Shoemaker. Redundant to say at this point, but a right-hander. That's all they've got out there. The 0-2 on the outside corner, strike 3 called. He got him with a changeup. And Lagares down on strikes. 1 man away. Anthony Recker will hit. First, we'll pause for a station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers. Howie Rose, Josh Lewin with you in Anaheim. 6-6 game with 1 out, top of the 11th. Nobody on for Anthony Recker. Big 2-run single in the 7th. And the pitch swung out and missed, strike 1. Fastball from Smith. Joe, you might remember from his Mets days, side-arming right-hander. They switched him around in college. Was struggling early on, and that made all the difference. Joe Smith came up with the Mets in 2007. The 0-1 on the way. Breaking ball, little bit low, 1-1. Smith eventually left the Mets, went on to have some successful years with the Cleveland Indians before signing as a free agent with the Angels this past winter. Outfield very deep and straight away, and the pitch back swung out and missed. with a fastball, and it's 1-2.
You mentioned the Indians. They came from out of nowhere last year. Very competitive, playoff-bound team. You know, the Mets maybe trying to model themselves kind of that way. Cleveland and Pittsburgh were the out-of-nowhere surprises last year. The Mets hoping to grab some of that in 2014.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Got him with a fastball. Smith has come on to strike out the first two. Now it'll be Anthony Recker. Well, if you're going to replicate the success that teams like the Indians, who certainly appear to have overachieved last year, have had recently, then this is the kind of game you have to win. Not necessarily in the fashion in which it appeared they were on their way to doing it. All right, the closer blew it. 3-run lead, gave it up. The teams that have those unexpectedly good seasons are the ones that show the character to shrug that kind of adversity off and win a game like this. Quintanilla takes a breaking ball down and in 1-0. So, you know, you hear the cliche all the time, a character building win or something of that nature. Well, you know, teams that go farther than they're supposed to, they win a bunch of these. The 1-0 chopped towards first, a foul ball, and that evens the count 1-1.
That was a real gut punch because it was a 6-3 game with 2 out and nobody on in the 9th inning. It's where it got away. Last night, remember, the Angels were on their way to stranding 17. Tonight, they have stranded 2. But we got the same result.
The 1-1 hit on the ground up the middle. That's a backhand stop by Kendrick, but he can't get the ball out of his glove. He drops it, making the transfer, and Quintanilla is aboard. I don't think, even if Kendrick had fielded that ball with his momentum taking him to his right towards the edge of the outfield grass and near second base, that he would have had a great chance to throw out Quintanilla. He might have, but it would have been an absolutely spectacular play, and he pulled it off. Instead, it's Quintanilla's second hit of the game, and now Eric Young Jr. will bat with 2 out. And that go-ahead run at first.
Any thoughts of running with Quintanilla here? Ionetta has caught a lot these last 2 nights.
That might work against it a little bit, although historically Ionetta's not thrown all that well. And stepping off is Smith. You know, you certainly want to get into scoring position, and yet if he gets thrown out and you get to the 12th, you would have Young to lead off. So we'll see. First pitch, fastball high, ball 1. Behind Young, you have Daniel Murphy. Mets have been out hit 9-8. Lucas Duda has a Mets home run. And the Angels have hit 3 home runs. The 1-0 way inside with a fastball. 2-0. Chris Ionetta, Colin Cowgill, and of course Raul Ibanez, who tied it, have all gone deep for the Angels. Freeze even with a bag at third. Here's the 2-0. Fastball, wow, that sure seemed like a strike, but it's low, 3-0. The Mets will take that break. Sorry if we're competing with that leather-lunged fella sitting straight down below us.
I can see him. He's got a blue shirt.
3-0, that's in for a called strike, 3-1.
He keeps waving his hands trying to get on TV also, and then looking down at his phone. And he keeps smacking his buddy on the shoulder, kind of like, hey, get a load of me.
Guess what? 40,027 paid, not one of them to see him. The 3-1 swung out and missed the fastball. So now we know that Quintanilla will be running on 3-2 with 2 out. And again, that outfield's pretty deep here, particularly down the right field side for Young, the pull side. If he shoots the gap or hits the line, we'll see Quintanilla in all likelihood try to score from first. 3-2, the runner goes, the pitch chopped. A lot of hang time up the first base line, but it kicks foul. Young knew it all the way. So back to first base will come Quintanilla, and the count remains full. Third extra inning game for the Mets. They haven't won one yet. Last night and opening day.
We thought last year was the season of the extra inning game, and they are replicating that so far here in 2014.
Yes, they're hitting, what, 273 in the extra inning game department, 3 for 11.
Higher than their actual team batting average by a bunch, unfortunately, by about 70 points.
So again, Quintanilla gets set to run 3-2. There he goes, and the pitch fouled straight down off of Young, and that has him on all fours for a moment. Ewald pops back up, but is Smith delivered. Young fouled that ball straight down off his right foot, and he yelled as soon as that ball made contact. Now he's up and just walking it off a little bit.
There's been 7 pitches in this AB. Every single one of them has been a sinker, between 87 and 89 miles an hour.
That's Joe Smith. And now Quintanilla back at first, ready to run again on 3-2. EY taps the bat once across home plate. Quintanilla runs, and the pitch is in there. Strike 3 called. Side retired. He changed up on 3-2 and fooled Eric Young. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Middle of the 11th. The Mets 6, the Angels 6 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Wendy's
2 men away.
Well, since that home run by Ibanez, and remember, he was only hitting 7th tonight because the Mets were starting a lefty, John Neese. Well, since Ibanez hammered that one out, it's now been 6 in a row set down by Met relievers.
Well, Verdi got Iannetta after giving up the Ibanez homer. Scott Rice got Calhoun and Shuck. Now Trout has got Pujols and Kendrick to start the 11th after he got Trout on a pop-up to end the 10th. But he's still not done. Here's David Freese. 1 out of 4. He started the rally in the 9th. First pitch in the dirt, goes right through the 5-hole of Ricker for ball 1. Change up from Herman.
Well, a change-up to unlock a high-scoring game in extra innings. That's something Freese has experience with. Hit a Mark Lowe change-up to win a game in the World Series not too long ago.
Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss and another changeup. And the count 1-1. Herman had a little more on that changeup. And Freese was still badly out in front. It was about 3 miles an hour faster than the first one. 6-6 game. 2 out, nobody on. Here in the last of the 11th. 1-1 pitch. Fastball downstairs. Ball 2. Ibar, the switch hitter, is on deck. And then Ibanez. But right here, Herman just trying to get it into the 12th inning. He's only thrown 15 pitches, which would certainly mean he would pitch the bottom of the 12th, you would imagine, if it gets that far. 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss at the fastball. So a couple of change-ups, 94-mile-an-hour heat, and Freese way behind that fastball, and the count now even 2-2.
That hit that Freese got to ignite that 3-run rally in the 9th inning, his first of the whole series. Had an 0 for 6 yesterday.
Well, Herman comes set of the shoulders. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Side retired. Herman, 17 pitches, retiring all 4 batters he's faced. Nothing across in the 11th. It's on to the 12th here in Anaheim. The Mets 6, the Angels 6 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your
2% on flights. Join today at Orbitz.com/rewards and get instant vacation gratification.
Well, we're going to the 12th inning with the score tied 6-6. And even though Matt Shoemaker is the last man available in the Angels bullpen, he's going to come on to pitch here in the 12th inning. Now, he's been a starting pitcher throughout his professional career. He's a 27-year-old who made his first major league appearance in a spot start last year when Jared Weaver couldn't make a start. Shoemaker went 5 innings there and got off to a good start in the pen this year, throwing 7 2/3 scoreless innings out of the pen before being touched for a couple of runs by the Astros on Sunday. But you have to figure, since Shoemaker has worked some multiple innings this year, he may be in for the long haul if this game continues on, perhaps even well beyond this 12th inning, Josh.
Very true. He's at the back of the mound right now thinking about, I don't know, how Wendy's new salads are irresistible with flavors like barbecue ranch chicken featuring fire-roasted corn and applewood smoked bacon, or the new under 400-calorie Asian cashew chicken with, say it with me now, roasted edamame. It is Daniel Murphy to lead off against this right-hander who steers one to the outside corner for a strike, 0-1.
Somewhat surprising, Josh, looking out of the Mets bullpen. John Lannon is up now. And of course, you do have Ibanez, the left-hand batter, due up second in the bottom of the inning.
0-1 pitch. Breaking ball hit in the air towards center, but over a couple of strides as Trout makes a one-hand catch up near that red cap of his. And there's one man down in the 12th inning.
Herman's thrown 17 pitches tonight. none of what you would call the stressful variety. Pitched 2/3 of an inning last night. Again, Terry Collins said before the game he'd be willing to use him for 2 innings in this game. Only took him 2 pitches to get out of the 10th inning, and then got the side in the 11th.
That's an 0 for 6 for Murphy tonight. And here's the captain. David Wright has reached base a couple times, once on a walk, and a count that started 0-2. And he's also singled. He'll take here, outside 1-0. Matt Shoemaker, like the New York Mets manager, Mr. Terry Collins, out of Eastern Michigan University. Pitch to right, dropping low. And it's 2-0 to David. Mike Scioscia barking from that dugout. Didn't think that was the right call. Handful of Major League players from Eastern Michigan. 2-0. A strike on the inside. It's 2-1. There was a home run hitting catcher, Chris Hoyles, for the Tigers and the Orioles. And he's now coaching, I believe, at EMU. 2-1 pitch. Swing, bouncing ball to third. Grabbed over there by Freese, off the line, throwing in time. 2 down. There were a few guys that kind of hit and miss out of Eastern Michigan. Pat Sheridan, Brian Clutterbuck, who for some reason we've heard his name twice today, but...
You checking in on the Islanders on their day off in Buffalo, wondering what Cal Clutterbuck is up to? He's out for the year. They've got 1 game left.
Well,
upper body, if you're interested.
Here's Granderson, swings and misses, 0-1.
We're full service here.
Yeah, well, we do what we can. You know, stay up late with us. We can, you know.
Traffic's next.
Bulletins at once. Here's the 0-1. Chopper off the plate, slowly towards third baseman Freese, who bobbles and has no play. The shift was on, and Freese, essentially playing at the shortstop position, came charging to the grass, fumbled that opportunity, and that allows Granderson to reach with 2 out. It scored a base hit. And for the second straight night, the Mets have exactly 10 hits, tying a season high.
Now, Freese is familiar with making the bare hand pickup and a throw on the run, but usually he does that at third base. Here he was pulled way over towards second in a conventional shortstop position and simply couldn't come up with it.
So now Ike Davis with that go-ahead man at first in a 6-6 game. Ike flied out last time. He's 0 for 4 with a walk tonight. Toss to first, and Granderson scoots back in. One more on the Eastern Michigan topic before we put that one to bed. Remember Mickey Weston? Very briefly a Met. Right-hand pitcher. And he was out of Eastern Michigan as well. Another throw to first, and Granderson dives back in. He was one of those guys that had great AAA numbers. That was in the Baltimore organization and the Mets organization. And then every time he'd come to the big leagues, it just didn't quite work. But then he'd go to the AAA level, and he was always like 12-2. Throw to first, close, and Granderson back. Very close at first. Great move by Shoemaker, just whipped it over there. And now, I think they're going to stall a little bit. Shoemaker goes to Pujols. Here goes the catcher, Iannetta, to the mound. And I guarantee you, this is just so that the Angels people can look. Go check the video. Is this worth a challenge? There was no reason for Shoemaker to just wander over to first base like he had lost something.
I think Granderson was on the bag.
I think they're okay with that in the Angels dugout now, too. But I think they wanted to take a look at it. Because Iannetta went out there to the mound for no particular reason, too.
Maybe also to tell him to concentrate on Davis.
Another throw to first. Well, if that was a conversation, that didn't work.
Nope.
Granderson is
insubordination.
Granderson is a threat to run. He's got a couple of steals this year. And he's been on base 3 times tonight, despite not getting a ball out of the infield. Shoemaker setting at the belt and deals towards the outside corner, but missing. It's 2-0. The Mets got 3 in the 7th and 2 in the 9th. Those were the 2 big innings after the Duda home run in the 2nd. Right now it's 1 on, 2 out. Shoemaker deals. And just misses. It's 2-0.
Well, that Angels outfield is extremely deep. You talk about no doubles. I mean, that's about as far back as an outfielder is going to play. And all 3 of them.
6'3" right-hander Shoemaker fires. Breaking ball downstairs, 3-0. So here are the Mets trying to nudge Granderson into scoring position. It could be with a walk to Davis. We'll see if Ike considers a big swing on 3-0. We've seen a couple of those tonight. Chris Iannetta, most notably, the 100 hitting catcher for the Angels. There's a take, and it's a strike on the outside edge, 3-1. John Neese started, went 7 1/3 for the Mets. Jared Weaver started for the Angels, went 6 2/3. And allowed only 3 hits, but he walked 4. The bearded right-hander Shoemaker ready again. Granderson not running, the 3-1, drifting outside, ball 4. So it is 2 on, 2 out, and maybe the Mets here in the 12th can do to the Angels what the Angels did to the Mets in the 9th. You have an inning start very harmlessly with a couple of quick outs. And then from out of nowhere, you get a single and a walk. And then the next guy, left-handed power hitter, comes up and hits a 3-run home run.
I wonder if the Mets would take the lead here, whether it would be Lannon, who's throwing quite seriously in the Mets bullpen, or Hermen. Remember, it took a little while for Ricky Bonas to let the Mets dugout know that Hermen was available. And I don't know if he had any trouble getting loose. He's been effective.
Yeah, 17 pitches, and he's blazed right through it, getting a very tough part of the order. Trout, Pujols, Kendrick, and Freese. Nobody hitting the ball out of the infield. Duda with the home run 3 hours ago. Shoemaker steps back off the rubber. Jared Weaver has been home run prone. He allowed 4 to the Astros last time out, and then the 1 to Duda tonight. This Angels bullpen has been very good. That was not the scouting report we received. 2 on, 2 out. And the pitch to Duda, it's low, smothered by Iannetta. Granderson had a thought about going to third base, but with 2 out in the inning, no way. Iannetta caught 10 innings yesterday. He's into a 12th inning tonight. Honestly not sure about Hank Conger's availability. He got drilled in the ribs last night. Won the Angels a ball game, but it was a 98-mile-an-hour fastball that got him. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 on, 2 out. We're tied at 6 in the top of the 12th. Here's the pitch. Swinging, it's pegged, but foul down the first base line. Duda waiting on an 85-mile-an-hour off-speed pitch and was just a shade out in front. So now Lucas will step out, tap some dirt out of his spikes. The former USC Trojan. Tugs at the bill of his batting helmet. Waves that bat back and forth. Shoemaker's ready to go now. Runners have their leads from first and second. Here's the pitch. Swinging it, sliced away, foul to the left. And Duda dips behind 1 and 2. In the bottom of the 12th, it'll be Ibar, Ibanez, Iannetta. That's 6, 7, 8 in the order for Mike Scioscia.
2 of whom have homered in this game.
That's right. So now Shoemaker, who got a sniff in their rotation at the end of last year, and he's okay with just being a bullpen arm now. He's setting near the letters. Runners take their lead. So 1-2 to Duda. Low, and again smothered by Chris Iannetta. Tomorrow afternoon, by the way, former Angel Bartolo Colon against the former Texas Ranger C.J. Wilson. They used to face each other quite often in the AL West, Rangers and Angels. And then the Mets will head off to Phoenix, Arizona, 3-game series against the Diamondbacks. This is a 6-6 tie. Everything's even. 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors both ways. Shoemaker will call time here. Go back off the rubber. Nearly a 4-hour game yesterday. And we're heading that way again here tonight. 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Shoemaker fires, taken inside. And now the runners will be in motion. Duda since the home run, 1 out of 4. Been pretty much all singles for the Mets tonight, except for the Duda home run.
They would gladly take a single here.
Yep, that's all you need. And again, the 6 through 9 part of the order has been doing all of the lifting tonight. Runners get set to move. On 3 and 2, there they go. Here it comes. Swing, a little squiver up the third base line, but it's bending, rolling foul. That would have loaded those bases right there on a little roller right up the line, but it just took a dog leg left. Now Shoemaker about to throw his 20th pitch. The Mets in this game tonight have struck out, let's see here, 7, 8, 9, 12 times, but they have drawn 7 walks. A much better ratio than what we've been used to seeing, about a 1-to-2 ratio, walks to strikeouts. Every Angels pitcher, except for Frieri, is allowed to hit tonight. They have used 8 pitchers. Runners get going. The 3-2 delivery, swing, a bouncing ball foul right in and out of that Met dugout, first base side. And this will be an 8-pitch at bat to Lucas Duda. We've seen a few of those from him. Mets just kind of getting their body clocks reset today. And now this long game tonight with a quick turnaround tomorrow. It's a local time, 12:30 start tomorrow. To make it 3:30 back home in New York. Runners set to move one more time. 3 and 2 to Duda. Shoemaker winds and fires. Swing and a foul again. Back to this level, the second deck. And just to our left. Fan went for the ball and goes away shaking his hand in pain. Don't just stand there shaking your hand in pain. He's trying to get that ball from his neighbor now. Yeah, right. If you don't get it on the first try, that's just too bad. Long at bat continues with Lagares waiting on deck. 9th pitch of the AB. Runners on the move. Nope, back to their respective bases. Schumacher stepped off and looked right at Granderson. How long will the pyrotechnics keep? They got the fireworks show ready to go.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it based on Mets history. They did it at 3:55 in the morning in Atlanta back in 1985.
Granderson set to run along with Davis. The 3-2 pitch. Swing and a shot down the line. It's foul down near first base. Pujols grabbed it in foul ground. He was well beyond the bag. And awfully close. Awfully close. Right in front of that Met dugout, and there's no argument. First base umpire Toby Basner emphatically waved it foul. It's where it passes the bag. And Pujols ended up making a diving stop of a ball that had already been called foul. That was a changeup last time, that last pitch. And, yeah, here I was wondering if this was going to happen. As close as that was, why not? The Angels will stall here a little bit. Give themselves a look at that on the video. Mike Butcher comes out to the mound. The pitching coach, he's allowed to. Pujols had the presence of mind to run to the bag, and that would be a weird one, right? I mean, because essentially the call was foul. Play's got to stop, and it's supposed to be that plays down the line like that cannot be challenged because of exactly that. Like the no-hitter that was a little bit controversial with Johan Santana. Was that a fair or foul ball down near third? Butcher's back in the dugout, and we're good to go. The 3-2 with the runners going, taken low, ball 4. Lucas Duda works the walk. Breaking ball from Shoemaker, and he couldn't get it over. And it comes to Juan Lagares, and isn't this odd to say, Howie, but of all the guys you'd want up there, the way this season has started, it's Juan Lagares.
Well, he's had some big hits to be sure, but the one thing he can't be here is overly aggressive. For one thing, you've got a pitcher on the mound who's just walked 2 hitters in a row. And the other side of that is so much of Lagares' DNA is about expanding the strike zone. And with the bases loaded, there's really no need to do that here. He's got to be patient enough to make sure that it's his pitch that he swings at.
Loaded up for Lagares, who leads the team with 7 runs batted in. Here it comes. Swing and a miss at that slider. 0-1, to your point.
Slider that was down and out of the strike zone. Good pitch, though. Looks like a fastball until it darts away.
Lagares tonight, it's been a pretty positive night again with a couple more hits and a couple more runs scored. The bottom of this order has been fantastic tonight. Runners away from all 3 bases. We're tied at 6 in the 12th inning. Shoemaker kicks and brings it. Swing, a little tapper foul up near third. And now it's 0-2. He reached for one again.
And now that strike zone's about a mile wide as far as Lagares is concerned, and that's a difficult situation for him. He's such a free swinger, and when he's got 2 strikes and becomes defensive, there's not a lot, frankly, that he won't swing at. So it's a very advantageous situation, apart simply from the count for Shoemaker. Is based on the profile of Lagares.
Granderson, Davis, and Duda have their leads. 2 strikes on Lagares. Here's the pitch. Big swing, and it's foul right there at home plate. Hit his instep and rolled into fair territory. Iannetta went and got the ball. He deposits it with a toss over towards his own dugout.
Of course, the one thing among several that Shoemaker's got to be careful about here is that if you go too far out of the strike zone against a hitter who you know is prone to chase it, well, you got the bases loaded, and a go-ahead run at third. You've got to be careful as well not to throw one too wildly, or that can get the run home for the Mets.
6-6 tie in the top of the 12th. Shoemaker ready. He brings it. Taken. Just outside. It's 1-2.
Wow. That might be the best take Lagares has had all year.
Well, Iannetta was set up outside, and even though we've been bashing at Sean Barber, this young umpire tonight, yeah, even though the pitcher hit his spot, that spot was 2 inches off the plate. So it is 1-2 to Lagares, who just showed some great restraint. The 1-2 delivery. Swinging, it's peeled away foul towards the upper deck. Let's pause while we can for station ID on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda.
710 WOR New York, the new radio home of the Mets.
Josh Lewin with Howie Rose. It is a 6-6 game. Bases loaded. 2 out. We're in the 12th. Juan Lagares waves that bat. Shoemaker to the plate. It drifts outside. 2-2. This would be something if Lagares goes from 0-2 to a full count, and he's close to doing that. That again just shows the maturation, just kind of leering at a couple of pitches that were close. They just had the trust they would keep drifting away, and they did, both of them. So it'll be the 30th pitch of the inning. Granderson walks that lead off third. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. That one was in the dirt. He'd love to have that swing back, but he can't. That's the inning. The Mets leave him loaded. It is 6-6 as we go to the bottom of the 12th. On the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer.
Tom?
Yeah?
Are you eating my Wendy's?
So, Wendy's new salads are somewhat irresistible with flavors like barbecue ranch chicken, featuring fire-roasted corn and apple-wood smoked bacon, or the new under 400-calorie Asian cashew chicken with roasted edamame. John Lannon has been in 3 games as a Met, and that's totaled 1 inning for him. He's allowed 4 hits with a .571 opponent's batting average, and has an ERA that looks like somebody misplaced a decimal. It is 36.0, not 3.60, but here is John Lannon to open up the inning. And Howie, I was thinking along with you that Gonzalez Herman might be asked to go at least a little bit into this 12th inning, but that will not happen. 17 pitches and done. And Lannon, very simply stated, has to figure out how to get things right. This is a 6-6 game in the 12th.
Well, he's got a switch hitter, Ibar, the left-hand hitter, Ibanez, which is the biggest reason that Lannon's in now, and Chris Iannetta. Now, Lannon has been a starting pitcher over the course of his major league career, so he doesn't only have to get the Angels in this inning. He's going to be called on, perhaps, to throw a couple more if the situation should evolve.
Lannon's got a sinker, a changeup. The variation of speed of really only about 4 or 5 miles an hour between the two, 83 to 88. And he's worked hard on refining his curveball, too. Remember, he competed with Daisuke Matsuzaka and Henry Mejia, among others, to be the team's 5th starter. That's what he had locked in on, but the consolation prize, a chance to pitch out of the bullpen, something he has never done before. Ibar, the switch hitter, hitting right. And a guy who's normally a tough guy to walk, but he's got 2 of them tonight. It's also lined to left and fly to center. Pitch from Lannon, bunt is shown. Strike is taken on the inside edge, 0-1. High-scoring game here, 6-6 in the 12th. There were a couple of 1-0 games in baseball today. Tampa Bay over Cincinnati, Colorado over the Giants. Wright close to the line at third. The pitch, swinging a foul at home plate, 0-2. Cardinals beat the Cubs 10-4 behind Adam Wainwright. Phillies pulled one out against Miami 5-4. They scored in the 10th inning, a walk-off homer from Jimmy Rollins. Just the second of his career, second game-ending home run. Brewers won again. They beat the Pirates 3-2. Outfield a step back, but nothing more than that. Pitch to Ibar is low, 1-2. Near that leather-lunged fan that we've been hearing off and on, sitting right near the crowd mic, right behind home plate, a young fan has moved down. I got to say, this young man's maybe 9 or 10, and he's dancing right next to that very loud fan, kind of taking some of the attention away from the adults. Is his kid. Lannon spins the 1-2. Swing a tapper foul into the Angels dugout.
Maybe he's a rally kid for the Angels.
Well, mascots can be organic. The monkey was. Atlanta beat Washington 6-3, and the big news there is that Ryan Zimmerman broke his right thumb. He's going to be out for as many as 6 weeks.
That's when the shoulder had been bothering him again, too, at least with the throws.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Ibar. 6-6 tie in the 12th. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul smash back to the net. The Dodgers beat Arizona 8-5, but did not jump in the pool after to celebrate that we know of. Zach Greinke, the winner, 3-0. Mets will be playing the Diamondbacks coming up on Monday. Zach Wheeler against Josh Colmenter, who's into the rotation for Randall Delgado, who's been struggling. Lannon has the sign that he wants here from Record. 1-2 pitch, breaking ball fouled. Swept up to third. Gary DiSarcina's got it. Gary DiSarcina, quite the defender of Terry Collins. If you look back to that 1999 season where essentially Mo Vaughn and a couple of the others went to upper management and they said, we want Terry Collins removed. We don't want him around anymore. Well, Gary DiSarcina was among the players that were quite vehemently on the other side. They would have rather had Mo Vaughn removed. 1-2 inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. A great story written by Tim Rohan of the New York Times. I hope everybody got a chance to see, kind of chronicling the alpha to omega resume of Terry Collins, who had to do everything, including substitute teaching for a while to make ends meet before he got back in baseball in the early 80s. 2-2 pitch is clubbed foul down the left side, out of play. A great nugget unearthed by Tim that one of the teaching jobs that he was asked to take, only for a week, but still, Terry was asked to teach choir. And he doesn't sing. He told Tim, I just made sure everybody sat in their seats and sang notes. I don't know what I was listening to, but... 6-6 game in the 12th. Here's a 2-2 on the way. Swing, bouncing ball slowly hit up near third. Lannon off the mound, spears it, fires to first. Nice play to get a speedy runner. That's an athletic move by John Lannon, quickly down the slope of the mound and galloping up towards that third base chalk line. Ibar is taken care of, and up comes the reason we're still playing, Raul Ibanez.
Well, last night it was J.B. Shuck who hit a home run in the 6th inning, and the game carried into the 11th. Tonight it was Ibanez, with the Angels down to their last out of the bottom of the 9th inning. A long 3-run home run that was gone from the moment it left the bat.
Yep, about an hour and 25 minutes of extra time tonight so far, thanks to Raul Ibanez. Granderson very deep, the pitch. Check swing and it's low, 1-0. That ninth inning home run, fastball in from Jose Valverde that was just turned on by Ibanez. Then it soaring past that 18-foot high wall for career base hit number 2,000. Here's a 1-0 delivery. It's high, 2-0. Other scores real quick. Baltimore scored in the 12th inning, beat Toronto 2-1. Houston scored in the 10th inning to beat Texas 6-5. And the Tigers behind Justin Verlander beat San Diego 6-2. 2-0 delivery. Ibanez checks, takes, and it's a strike at the knees. Well, all the other West Coast games are in the books. A's over the Mariners 3-1. Ibanez holds the bat high. The 2-1 pitch, a check swing foul back to the net, 2-2. Ibanez lined into a double play in the 7th inning. Ike Davis was playing just off the line, and the ball sizzled right to him. Strikeout back in the 2nd, fly out in the 5th, and then the 3-run home run in the 9th. To put it where it has been since then, 6-6 in the 12th now. Lannon ready to go. The 2-2 delivery. Breaking ball squibbed towards the third baseman, David Wright, who's really playing shortstop. Fires across. Ibanez is out. 2 down in the bottom of the 12th inning. And now Chris Iannetta to the plate. Lannon faced Iannetta before. Iannetta, remember, a National Leaguer for a while with the Colorado Rockies. And Lannon kind of making a tour of the NL East. Washington, Philadelphia, and now the Mets, who are kind of his hometown team. He grew up on Long Island, but he grew up rooting for the Yankees.
Kid from Long Beach, John Lannon, and went to Chaminade High School.
Not to be confused with Shanana High School. Gonna wear cut-off sleeves. Pitch on the way to Iannetta. Right-hander checks, takes the strike on the inside corner, 0-1.
I don't think you were old enough to remember them.
Bowser? Oh, yeah. Could open his mouth real wide and flex. And I believe sing, too. if memory serves. 0-1. He is outside, a ball and a strike.
Well, that was the primary objective, but they were showmen, too. That's kind of like Kiss. They were Kiss before Kiss.
Yeah.
Well, they were showmen.
Well, they were showmen. There was music.
Right. They just didn't paint their faces.
Right.
And Shannon Tweed was not involved.
The 1-1. Chopped on the ground to second. Murphy down on a knee to grab it. He's got it. And throws to first to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. One weird conversation about Shanana. We go to the 13th inning. Late night West Coast baseball. We're all knotted up at 6 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Tom?
Yeah?
Are you eating my Wendy's barbecue ranch chicken salad?
What, Wendy's? Please.
Join today at Orbitz.com/rewards and get instant vacation gratification.
First time this year we're seeing such an animal as the 13th inning. The second time this year we've seen such an animal as a rally monkey. He's been all over the place again tonight. And he worked in the 9th inning. Jumping around on the scoreboard, Raul Ibanez hit a 3-run homer off Papa Grande, Jose Valverde, and we are still tied 6-6 into the 13th inning, which gives us time to tell you Wendy's new salads are irresistible with flavors like barbecue ranch chicken, featuring fire-roasted corn and applewood smoked bacon, or the new under 400-calorie Asian cashew chicken with roasted edamame. Anthony Recker will lead off inning number 13, and here to tell you all about it, here's Howie.
Thank you. Anthony Recker takes the first pitch on the inside corner, a breaking ball, a called strike one. Tell you that Asian cashew chicken salad and the edamame sounding pretty good right about now. Pretty good. The 0-1 to Recker is taken outside. Another breaking ball, and it's 1-1.
Wouldn't you just postpone the postgame show and send Seth? Grab us a bunch of chicken.
Yeah, you know what? I'm in. 1-1 pitch. Recker hits it deep to left field. Back goes Shuck onto the track at the wall. There she goes. Home run, Anthony Recker. And the Mets take a 7-6 lead. So once again, the bottom part of the Mets order continue to be the guys who have done most of the damage tonight. Ricker had a huge 2-run single in the 7th. That put the Mets in front. And here he's got the go-ahead home run to lead off the 13th against Schumacher.
Well, the two guys who hardly ever play have completely done what they need to do if they want to encourage Terry Collins to write him in more. Ricker and Quintanilla, huge nights tonight.
Now Quintanilla, he goes after the first pitch, rips it towards right center. That's a base hit. Hustling over the right fielder, Calhoun. Big turn at first by Quintanilla. He'll hold on. And the Mets now with a 1-run lead have a runner aboard with nobody out. Now, does this mean we have to call set back and tell him make a U-turn?
Yeah, please come on back because it's starting to look good for the Mets here. Quintanilla, and keeping in mind that Granderson has 2 hits in the last week, here's Quintanilla with 3 hits since the 9th inning tonight.
I saw a replay. Anthony Ricker looked like he did a little bat flip after he hit that home run.
Something he always does, by the way, even when he makes an out. He just tosses that bat real far.
Eric Young, the batter, he bunts up the first base line. Pujols has it and reaches to put a tag on the diving Young, who didn't get the memo about Josh Hamilton. But what Young does as Pujols tags him out is get Quintanilla over to second, 1 man away. And they'll give him a sacrifice, 3 unassisted.
Yeah, you hate to see that dive into first when you're a good 15 feet from the bag. I mean, you hate to see it any time, really, but looks like Eric is okay. And the Mets will try to build on a 7-6 lead now.
Well, large part because Daniel Murphy is 0 for 6. They'll pitch to him with first base open. Also, David Wright on deck factors in, although he's a right-hand batter. The righty Shoemaker deals and a breaking ball in the dirt, ball 1. Now, clearly, this could just be a pitch around with first base open. And if he throws ball 2, they may even right there, if it goes to 2-0, decide to just put Murphy on. But Murph has twice grounded to short, and he's popped to short, struck out twice, and flied to center. 7-6 New York here in the top of the 13th inning. Shoemaker sets of the belt. Quintanilla leads from second. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a foul ball coming back into the second deck behind third, and it's 1-1. Well, again, you look at who's up in the bottom of the 13th inning, and you say, sure, it'd be nice to get some insurance here. Cole Calhoun, and then J.B. Shuck and Mike Trout with Pujols, the 4th hitter, if it gets that far. 1-1 to Murphy. Outfield deep. And Shoemaker delivers. Swing and a foul tip. He threw him a changeup and kept it away from him, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's a 3 RBI game for Ricker. And a 2 RBI game for Quintanilla. His 2 runs batted in on that 9th inning single with the bases loaded. How about that? All that damage from the 8 and 9 part of the order.
Sometimes you just have to have that. 1-2 the count. Pitch to Murphy. Slow hit grounder up the right side. Hugs the line, then kicks foul. And so Quintanilla, who is to third, will have to go back to second. The count's still 1-2. But, you know, this goes back to what we talked about before with, you know, the teams that have either just flat out good seasons or become surprise teams have got to win games like this when it seems as though you've let one get away. The Ibanez home run with 2 out in the 9th, a 3-run shot to tie it, was a crusher. But if you come back and win the game, then you start feeling a little bit better about your character and about the things that suggest that you can overcome those types of things, as opposed to just slink off into the background and lose this game and let that blossom into who knows how many losses. It's over dramatic to a point, to be sure. 1-2 on the way, a fastball high, 2-2. But I think you look at any team that goes through a season winning more games than they expect to, and they look at games that, well, maybe they won where they weren't supposed to. They came back after trailing. But you've got to win games like this one where you take a big punch and you get knocked down, but you get back up. And the Mets have done that to this point. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off the end of the bat. He had an emergency swing at a fastball and shoots it into the stands just to the left of home plate downstairs. So still 2-2 to Murphy, having a tough at-bat here after having a difficult first 6 trips to the plate. Got a mini hitting streak of 4 games coming into this one. Right now, we'd love to pick up Quintanilla from second with 1 out. 7-6 Mets in the 13th inning. Shoemaker ready. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Up and in, and his helmet comes flying off. 3-2. Murph was not hit with the pitch, but as he recoiled, the bat came out of his hands, the helmet off of his head. He picks up the helmet first, the bat second, and Murph, ever so slowly, begins to climb back into the box.
That'll rattle your cage for sure. He contorted that body almost impossibly to get out of the way.
But they were playing limbo for a minute. 3-2 the count. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a slider. And Murphy down on strikes, 2 men away. Well, for Shoemaker, his second strikeout. And David Wright will be the batter. So an 0-for-7 night for Daniel Murphy. Yeah, don't feel so bad, Murph. Back in, 1968? The Mets played that 24-inning game at the Astrodome. It was Tommy Agee and Ron Swoboda, I believe, each went 0-for-10 in that game. A year later, they wound up getting World Series rings. So I don't know that you can connect all of those dots. But the idea is that they came back, and Murphy will too, even though he's 0-for-7 tonight. So here's Wright with 2 out. First pitch. Fastball on the outside corner. Strike 1 call.
Well, the Mets have struck out 13 more times tonight. And now it kind of sets up in a very interesting way, Howie, because essentially Lannon has got a chance to save his own win. I mean, he won't get credit for a save, obviously, but that's what it comes down to.
And raise his standing, I think, within that, not so much clubhouse, but organization. The 0-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Bounce to the right of Iannetta. Digging for third, Quintanilla, and he slides in without a throw. Well, that should be a wild pitch. So Quintanilla now 90 feet away with an insurance run with 2 men away. That was about a 59-footer that came up and bounced off of the right shoulder of Chris Iannetta, the catcher. So 1-1, the count to Wright. Quintanilla leading from third. Shoemaker sets the 1-1 pitch. Hit high in the air to left center field, not deep, but moving in his Trout. He's there, and he makes the catch. Side retired. The Mets break the tie. They get a run on 2 hits. A solo homer by Record will lead off the inning. No errors, 1 left. Middle of the 13th inning. The Mets 7, the Angels 6 on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Quit today. Call 1-866-NY-QUITS for help. And if qualified, a free nicotine replacement starter pack. That's 1-866-697-8487.
We head to the bottom of the 13th, but now the Mets have a 7-6 lead. Wendy's new salads are irresistible. They're still new with flavors like barbecue ranch chicken featuring fire-roasted corn and applewood smoked bacon, or the new under 400-calorie Asian cashew chicken with roasted edamame. The Mets hold on here. It's edamame for all. Calhoun, Shuck, and Trout will bat in the bottom of the 13th against John Lannon. So Lannon, who had never made a relief appearance before this season, trying to close this one out. He's the pitcher of record on the long side, and the first pitch taken right down the middle, a fastball for a called strike 1. Lefty against lefty here. And the on-deck batter, J.B. Shuck, is also a left-handed hitter. But then it's Mike Trout, so stick around. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Calhoun at a breaking ball. So quickly 0-2. Lannon retired the side in order in the 12th. He needed that. In fact, in 3 appearances, he'd only totaled 1 inning of work coming into this game. Now starting an inning, as he did in the 12th, his comfort zone. The 0-2, breaking ball way outside and bounces to the backstop.
Well, we mentioned that breaking ball is still a work in progress. Mostly a sinker, changeup kind of guy is John Lannon. By the way, Howie, Daisuke Matsuzaka, 7 innings of 2-hit ball for Vegas tonight at Fresno. A great sign.
Yeah, he needed that because he'd been struggling somewhat going into that start. 1-2, the count to Calhoun. The pitch. Low, ball 2.
Pretty good changeup and good restraint not to swing at that by Calhoun.
The right fielder, Curtis Granderson, by far the deepest of the Mets outfielders. That's the pull side for Calhoun. He's got 2 home runs. 2-2 pitch on the way. A breaking ball low. So it's full.
Look how far Calhoun was walking out of the batter's box. He walked about halfway to the Mets dugout on the first base side, I guess, to clear his head.
Well, one of the difficult things, if he gets on base, you got to deal not only with Trout later in the inning, but barring a double play, Pujols too. Here's the payoff pitch. Swinging a high pop-up, middle of the infield. The shortstop, Quintanilla, right on the edge of the grass, makes the catch, 1 man away. Right at the edge of the outfield grass. So 1 out before J.B. Shuck hits. We'll pause for station identification on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealer.
WOR New York, the new radio home of the Mets.
Howie Rose, Josh Lewin with you in Anaheim. Mets 7, Angels 6, 1 out in the last of the 13th inning. Here is Shuck, 1 for 2 since joining the game. First pitch, fastball, a little bit low, 1-0. Remember, he had a home run last night off of Dylan G. On deck is Mike Trout. So Lannon has his work cut out for him. 1-0 the count. Here's the pitch. That's for on the inside corner, a called strike, 1-1. Throw him a breaking ball that looked to many here in the ballpark inside, including Shuck, but not to the home plate Sean Barber. Well, the count even, right off the line at third, right at the edge of the infield grass. Lannon into the windup, the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a bouncing ball towards second. Murphy to his left, gobbles it up, throws to first in time, 2 men away.
Boy, since the Ibanez home run, nothing for the Angels. Nary a base runner, but now here's Trout.
Well, if John Lannon was happy to get a role in the bullpen, he may be reinventing himself. And he'll have to do it the hard way to get this one over with, because Mike Trout is up now, and Albert Pujols is on deck. 7-6 New York. 2 out, nobody on, last of the 13th. Lannon into the compact windup. The first pitch taking low. A fastball, ball 1. Trout looked like he was up there intentionally taking that first pitch, wanting to get a look at Lannon, guy he hasn't seen. Now John into the windup, the 1-0. High and inside, ball 2. In the 9th, Valverde got the first 2 with a 3-run lead. Then David Freese singled and Eric Ibar walked, leading up to Raul Ibanez's 3-run homer. Here it's 2-0 to Trout, the potential tying run. Here's the pitch. Fastball, called strike. Pitch down the middle. The only question was, might it have been up? Sean Barber taking that little extra time to make the call, but the count 2-1. And Lannon just waits on the rubber. No wasted energy at all. Trout back in, ready to go. Lannon into the windup, the 2-1 pitch. Outside, ball 3. Missed with a fastball. Well, Lannon right to the back of the mound, just kicks at the scraper to take any dirt out that might have been caught in his spikes, or just had a nervous habit. Climbs right back up onto the rubber. Here's the 3-1 to Trout. Taken on the outside corner, a called strike. It's 3-2. So a full count now to Trout. Pujols waiting on deck. Those who remain among the paid crowd of 40,027. Making themselves heard. Here's the payoff pitch. Swinging a ground ball foul down the third baseline beyond Coach Gary D. Sarcina. So Lannon will rub up the fresh baseball as he takes a walk behind the mound. Trout outside the batter's box, killing a little time. Lannon climbs back up. Mets outfield is extremely deep. Curtis Granderson in right is barely visible. Lannon kicks the payoff pitch. Swinging a liner to first. Caught by Davis. Put it in the books. Well, there's a character-building win for the New York Mets, who took a shot to the solar plexus in the bottom of the 9th inning when Raul Ibanez hit a 2-out, 3-run homer to tie it. After Ibanez, no other Angel reached base, and the Mets won it on a homer by Anthony Recker in the top of the 13th inning. in the bottom of the 13th for the Angels. Nothing across. The final score, the New York Mets 7 and the Los Angeles Angels 6. Back to talk about it in a moment on the WOR Mets Radio Network, driven by your Tri-Honda dealers. Well, back here in Anaheim, the Mets in 13 innings defeat the Los Angeles Angels by a score of 7-6. Jose Valverde looked like he was on the verge of closing this thing out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Raul Ibanez hit a 2-out, 3-run homer, but Anthony Recker was the guy who wound up with a game-winning hit, a home run to lead off the 13th inning. Recker had a great night, also a 2-run single in the 7th. He's standing by to talk about it downstairs with Seth Everett.
Here with the offensive hero, guys. Anthony Resch starting. I'm going upstairs.
All right, get here fast. Meantime, a lot of good things for the Mets, despite the fact they almost lost as heartbreaking a game as you can lose.
Yeah, Ibanez hit the 3-run home run to tie it, but then the Mets persevere and win it. Recker ends up with 3 runs batted in. Omar Quintanilla, 3 hits and 2 runs batted in. Another big night for Juan Lagares as well. 7, 8, 9 in the order carried the night and early morning. 7-11-0 for the Mets, 6-9-0 for the Angels, who left only 2 on base after leaving 17 on yesterday. Lannon gets the win. That's a character builder for him for sure. Shoemaker takes the loss. The time of the game, would you believe, 4 hours and 29 minutes. 40,027 paid to see it. They're watching the fireworks now. The Mets win in 13. Again, it's the Mets 7 and the Angels 6.
New York Mets baseball is a production of 710 WOR in conjunction with the New York Mets. The executive producer.